Little man on the scene trying to sound real tough. Standing on a stool, still ain't tall enough. Reaching for the counter like daddy pick me up. Wants his lukewarm brew in his favorite sippy cup. Baby pain, stomp those socks. Tiny little sneakers, big boy talk. Puffs that chest, can't lift the lock. Bangs on the door till the hinges pop. Baby pain, just a little guy thinks he running the game. Baby pain, wants a big desk, can't spell his name. In charge of the case, I don't think so. Give him some toys and shut that door. All he wants is to feel that large, but I'm the one in charge. Yeah. Poor little guy ain't got one friend. Crying to his mama, why's it all gotta end? Why? Tears on the floor. Kicks his legs, then he's back for more. Fake mean mug with the jelly on his chin. Throws one punch, then he runs back in. Hides behind mom when the world swings back. Wants big boots, still rocking snacks. Baby pay. Just a little guy thinks he running the game. Baby pay. Wants a big desk, can't spell his name. In charge of the case, I don't think so. Give him some toys and shut that door. All he wants is to feel that large, but I'm the one in charge. I'm the one in charge. Stomping up and down, red face, small frame. Tiny little storm trying to make it rain. Wah, that's his war cry. Big boy dreams in a shirt size 5. Baby pay. Just a little guy thinks he running the game. Baby pay. Wants a big desk, can't spell his name. In charge of the case, I don't think so. Give him some toys and shut that door. All he wants is to feel that large, but I'm the one in charge. I'm the one in charge.
All right. Welcome back to the cafe, everybody. It's great to see you in the house. We are back to the true crime, all the fun stuff within it, all the mess that we're discussing day after day after day after day. We are back to it. Gotta love it. Idaho 4. I'm telling you what, guys, I've never seen anything like this, and I don't think we ever will again. Truly, I hope we don't ever see it again, to be honest with you. Today, we are having a wide open discussion. I want to see where everybody's thoughts are at this point. We have some things within the case we'll be discussing, but I want all your opinions, feelings, thoughts, theories, whatever it is. I want it. I want to hear about it. I will have the link pinned at the top of the chat for those of you that like to join me, that will join me. Anybody that has never done it, please feel free. I'd love to hear your voices, your opinions, your feelings, your thoughts, other than just typing it out. I think it's important. Some things to break down, discuss at that point that have come out recently. We can talk about those things, old things, new things, whatever things, your things, my things. I don't care. But I want to break it down and talk about it. And we're going to jump into some other stuff that we have to go with it as well, without a doubt. So that I'm looking forward to. So make sure you guys, please, if you will, hit the like button, share it out. Let everybody know what we're doing over here today. Again, like I said, I will have the link pinned at the top of the chat here shortly. Once we get everybody in here moving along, please, if you will, too, on the way through the door, again, hit that like button. We got to keep this in that algorithm. And you know how it goes. And that being said, you guys, let's get this show on the road if we can.
Pulling up on the scene, Dago's got that stare red light on the screen, pouring up truths every damn day. Names, faces, dates, he don't look away. Pin maps, cold files on the wall. String runs tight from the big shot sizzles. You feel that chill when he says that name. Someone's shadow, someone's shame. True Crime Cafe, he's serving the proof. Hot cup of pain, cold steel of the truth. Seeking justice, seeking reality. Voice for the voiceless, he speaks for the strength. True Crime Cafe, every single day. Pulling on the threads till they all give way. Corruption in the veins, he's calling it out. No way, no peace till justice is found. Backroom deals under neon signs. He reads one line, then follows the lies. Crack tape, low sound. He can hear that bleed. Somebody out there, come remember me. He don't blink when the story gets dark. He just digs deeper, strikes that spark. You'll hear that rage rotting under his breath. Every question a dare, every pause a threat. True Crime Cafe, he's serving the proof. Hot cup of pain, cold steel of the truth. Yeah. Seeking justice, seeking reality. Voice for the voiceless, he speaks for the straight. True Crime Cafe, every single day. Pulling on the threads till they all give way. Corruption in the veins, he's calling it out. No way, no peace till justice is found. No way, no justice, no use in the lies. He tears down the curtain, looks dead in their eyes. Whoa. You feel that verdict rising inside your chest, till the guilty confess, till the broken can rise. True Crime Cafe, he's serving the proof. Hot cup of pain, cold steel of the truth. Seeking justice, seeking reality. Voice for the voiceless, he speaks for the straight. True Crime Cafe, every single day. Pulling on the threads till they all give way. Corruption in essence, he's burning it down. No way, no peace till justice is found.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see you guys today. Thank you for joining us back at the cafe. I want to thank everybody that did join us yesterday for the premiere episode of Cafe Conspiracy. I hope you guys that were there enjoyed it. I appreciate the support for it more than you guys know. You have no idea. It was an awesome show. I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well. Truly and honestly, I cannot wait to delve more into that stuff as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us there, for all the new subscribers we got. It was amazing. You guys are amazing. You guys truly are the beautiful people, and please know how much you are appreciated. Truly and honestly. I want to thank our brother Scully for that new little intro we just ran there. I will be running, don't worry, I'll be running the original intro too. But I'm trying to mix it up a little bit for you guys so you don't get bored with things. So thank you, Scully, for that, brother. You are amazing, guys. Make sure you check out Skull Mackay's channel. If we can drop his link in here, please, and thank you. Amazing, amazing, amazing work, Scully. I love you, bro. And I appreciate you very much. Him and Molly, I'm telling you, if him and Molly got together, I can only imagine the things they would produce together. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, again, welcome everybody. Let's see who we got join us today. We have a wide open discussion we'll be running today on the Idaho 4 case, of course. And I want everybody's feelings and thoughts to this point where we're at in the case now with everything we've learned. Just so everybody knows also, guys, I want to let you know something. We are 72, if I'm correct. I think we are. I think I am. 72 subscribers away from hitting 13,000 subscribers on this channel. It may be less now. It may be less. In fact, I will check it out for sure. What I want to thank you all for is the fact that it's happened because of you guys. Truly and honestly, because of you guys. Let me see here. I do want to see. I think we got 44, 45 likes with 101 people. Guys, please make sure to hit the like button. Yeah, I think we're 65, 62 people, 62 subscribers away from hitting 13,000 subscribers on this channel, folks. I cannot believe it. I cannot wait. Honest to God. Let me check something here. You're good, Skull. You're good. I ran it anyway, buddy. I figured out another way to run it for now. But I got it. I appreciate it. And I will upload that one. It'll be a little bit easier. But thank you, brother. I appreciate you so very much. By the way, congratulate Scully Investigates, if you will, folks. Hitting 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for the supporting him to help him to get to that point. It means a lot. For real. For real. We all appreciate that for those of you that have supported him. That's for sure. That is for sure. Let's see who we got in here. Yes, Miss Bubbles in the house. Good to see you. Miss Rowe, welcome back to you. Dinocytes, welcome to you. Of course, our brother Scully in the house. Welcome, Karmic Retribution. Good to see you today. Thank you so much for joining us. There's a link for the news channel. Cabbie Conspiracy, guys. Please check it out if you have not yet done it. Moonlit Baby, good to see you today. Kelly Coker, welcome. And we will handle that situation for sure, Miss Kelly. Happy belated birthday. Make sure you guys all wish Kelly a happy birthday, please, and thank you. Lisa Winchester, great to see you. Angie B, welcome back. I love the new channel, except I ended up falling asleep to your voice. That's a compliment. Well, thank you, dear. I'm glad that I could help you at least get a nap in. That's awesome. The Mad Dog 5000 in the house. Thank you for joining us. One Made Nut. Eddie's in the house. Welcome back to you, buddy. Ms. Noni McPoppins in the house. Great to see you, dear. Thank you for being here. Blue Eyed Butterfly, welcome back. And thank you so very much for that. I appreciate it. I couldn't do any of this without you guys. That's facts. That's facts. Jesse Schul in the house. Absolutely. Absolutely, Jesse. I'd love to have you join me. I will have that set up here once. Hopefully, Eddie can join us as well. Cindy, Ella, welcome back to you. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. G Bean, always happy to see you. Thank you for being here. Let me see. Let's see. Who else do we have in the house? Nicole Trippier, welcome to you. Gloria Elton, welcome. The Tomboys in the house. Let's get this road on the show. That's right. Miss Tandy's in the house. Good to see you, Miss Tandy. Thank you for being here. Sammy T, great to see you. John T4, welcome back. Great to have you here. Deb Tutro, welcome back to you. Gail G74, welcome to see you. Third Apache's in the house today. Great to see ya. Thank you for joining us. Pretty much Finland, welcome back to you. Baby Ames. Great to see you, Baby Ames. Thank you for being here today. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, by the way. All of you deserved it. I hope you had a beautiful weekend for the beautiful people. All you amazing, lovely, and beautiful people. Wendy's in the house. Good to see you, Miss Wendy. Miss Becca, welcome back to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my moderators who do what you do. We all know that Dago wouldn't exist without this blue crew. Period. Fact. End of story. No doubt about it. Dashins for life. Good to see you. Sweet Melissa, welcome back to you, Angie B. If I missed anybody, I promise you I will catch up. Living Dead Girl, welcome. Great to see you. Love your name. Always have. Texas GG, welcome and thank you for joining us. Janice Wells, great to see you. Let me see. Let me see. I think I got it. Miss Margaret, wonderful to see you guys. Please make sure to wish Miss Kelly Coker a happy birthday. It's maybe a day behind. That's okay. It doesn't matter. In this family, it doesn't matter. We still back each other up. Cheez-Its is in the house. Welcome. Good to see you. Great to have you here. Miss Paula, the positive one, Fitzhenry, wonderful to see you. Skilla, welcome back. Wellington Oda's in the house. Good to see you today. Thank you so very much for joining us. Grateful to you all. It is hot out today. It is hot outside, and I am definitely not out there by any means. I don't want to be out there when it's like this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Again, thank you to anybody that chooses to support us, whether it is PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Super Chats, any of those things. It's never expected from any of you, but we do appreciate it. It keeps these bills paid, especially with these Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal links, guys. I'm telling you, that's what pays the bills. So thank you all so very much for doing what you do. God bless. We love you and appreciate you very much. Thank you for all the kind words about yesterday's show. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see more of you there. And it's just going to get better and better as we go. Susie Q, welcome. Good to see you today. Karen Folquez, good to see you as well. I believe today, you guys, as well, is Miss Kaylee's birthday. Okay, I believe. I may be wrong. Today's the 8th, June 8th. I thought it was the 8th or the 7th or 8th, but I thought it was today. Don't quote me, but I believe it is. Let me see what we got going on over here. Give me 1 minute. Just 1 minute. First and foremost, though, I want to celebrate a little bit. 1-1 is in the house, June 8th. Okay, thank you, 1-1. Good to see you, brother. So it is today. Thank you, Bubbles. Thank you. She would be 25 today, guys. Please, we're gonna have a moment of silence for her here shortly. And I want everybody to, in your hearts, wish her a happy heavenly birthday. Um, Truly and honestly, guys, she deserves that. So give me a quick second here, though. First and foremost, today is Miss Kelly. Yesterday was Miss Kelly Coker's birthday. We missed it, and I would like to make sure that's all well known. So tell Kelly Coker happy birthday, folks, if you will. Give me a minute. We will get this show on the road here shortly.
Oh, hey Kelly, how you doing? Al here. Listen, I know you're super busy. You got a lot going on. I really hate to bother you, but well, there's something I've been meaning to tell you, and I'm afraid it just can't wait any longer. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelly. Happy birthday to you. Hey, it's your birthday. Gotta be your birthday. You know what I was told? Today, you're 36 years old.
It's your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
It's Kelly's birthday.
Hey! Yeah! Woo!
Oh, there you go, Miss Kelly. He's keeping you young, too. 36. I thought you would like that rather than the big 50. But happy 50th to you for sure. I hope it was a great day yesterday. And I hope you have an amazing rest of the year leading up to next year. And of course, everybody gets a cake here at the cafe. So just one moment here for you. I got to yank it out of the freezer here. Huh. It's not the greatest of all cakes, Miss Kelly. I'm sorry. YouTube doesn't pay us very well, unfortunately. So yeah, you have to take what you get, unfortunately. So here it is. And I hope you enjoy very much. All right, here you go, here. Make a wish and blow 'em out. Happy birthday, Miss Kelly. Thank you for being part of our family, our community here, Kelly. We love you and appreciate you very much. And Grant, I hope you had a great day yesterday. I hope today is amazing for you as well as every other day throughout the year until next year when we can do this again. So thank you for being part of our family once again, Kelly. Happy birthday. Again, can't say it enough how much we appreciate and love you. So I'm sorry I couldn't get to you yesterday, and I didn't know. So there again, guys. And again, today is Miss Kaylee Jade's birthday. She'd be 25 years old today. Guys, I'm going to ask us all to take a moment here before we pull the panel up or any of that. We're going to take a moment of silence in respect for Kaylee's heavenly birthday today. God bless her, her family. And Kaylee, happy birthday to you, sweetheart. If we all can take a moment of silence now. All right. Thank you all for that. Much respect and God bless. Happy 25th birthday, Miss Kaylee, up in heaven. And you know you're missed, you're loved. And one day, I'm hoping and praying there will be true justice for you and all of the other victims as well. God bless. Thank you guys so very much. Speaking of, that's why we're here today. We're going to get people's opinions as to where we're at with this case. We're going to discuss some of the things within the case to where we're at this point. So come on in, grab a seat, get off them feet, grab your cup, fill it up. Get into this convo. The link is going to be pinned. It is now pinned at the top of the chat or the bottom, wherever it fell into play. Come on in, grab that link. Join me if you will. Please and thank you. It's great to be back with you guys on this Monday. June 8th already, you guys. Wow. Oof. Summer's here. Link is pinned. Anybody wants to join me, come on down. You see Enod Arul, Arual, I think I'm saying it right or wrong. Either way, welcome. Good to have you here. Thank you. Mr. Jesse's in the house. Eddie is in the house. And of course, Officer 11, Captain 11 himself joining us. I got, damn, what a panel today, folks. Shit. Welcome,
My
Eddie.
man, Eddie.
Can you hear me, Eddie?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Hello, everybody.
Oh, you're good, bud. Good to have you here. How are you today?
I'm good. I had a good time at your new channel last night.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Can I say that there was something that concerned me a little bit?
Of course you can. That's
Thank you. Well, first, I should ask, is it a political channel? I know it's got a different format and you're covering different topics and all that. Are people like encouraged or allowed to, weigh in with their political alliance or opinions or make jabs at the other
I'm
side
not
of the aisle,
really
so to speak?
I'm not really going in that direction. We'll be talking about governmental things like, conspiracy type stuff. I'm not really trying to follow the political or religious side because you know what shit tends to happen at times. I mean, if it's nothing like negative or nasty or anything like that, then of course we can have conversations, but trying to I'm not trying to cause any fights between people, if you know what I mean.
I think it was the 1980s the last time I saw a political conversation that didn't turn nasty.
I know.
Yeah, the reason I asked is so chat started going that way and there was no
I didn't even notice it.
correction.
What did you see that was said? Because I didn't even notice that. I'm sorry.
I don't even want to utter it. But I corrected it as tactfully as I possibly could. But no
Okay.
attention was paid to me. And it continued with the same person.
I didn't even see it. My apologies.
It's like if there's no correction, then that really it's a signal that the channel like unofficially endorses it or encourages it, or at least at a minimum makes it known that it will continue without.
Well, we don't. Yeah, if anybody would have, most people were probably paying attention to what we were talking about, and that's probably why it didn't get corrected or seen. So I will make sure that in the future that anything comes out, like the whole thing that I'm saying, I can almost imagine what it could have been. Like, I'm not going to sit. We're doing conspiracy theory stuff. We don't need to sit and bash Trump or anybody else for that matter that's in a political office. So
Right, when one side bashes the other's
I don't want that.
Political guy or gal.
We're trying to get along.
Then the other side is rightfully, they'd be within their right to answer back. Well, then pretty soon the chat, others will see it, weigh in, and pretty soon the chat is going sideways on this. And it's a nice. There's enough politics, in our everyday life. It's a nice place to go for refuge and not have to deal with anyone's opinions and have to like entrench themselves and go into their side or their corner.
Yeah, well, for future reference, we will pay more attention to make sure things like that don't get thrown out there. And if they do, they will be corrected. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Most of what we're doing in that channel is everybody comes in with a tinfoil hat on is what it's all about, to get away from this kind of stuff that we do regularly. So if anybody was offended by something that happened yesterday in there, my apologies. It wasn't, we just were busy listening and watching what was going on, and I didn't get to see that stuff. So my apologies.
I wasn't in there. I didn't get a chance to hear that. But what I would say is people can believe what they want, but not about your not about your channel, not about that stuff. But I think people need to. Some people, you got a lot of people here, and a lot of the other people we have around have been waking up. Politics, you can believe certain things and policies and taxes and certain things that you want, but I think people need to realize more and more that the whole Democrat versus Republican thing, it's just another way of them to divide us instead of us being united. So we can.
George Carlin was ahead of his time.
Absolutely. We could talk about, you can talk about policies and debate about policies, but when it starts getting into like, I hate Trump and I hate Biden and this and that, it's all nonsense. That's
why I don't support any of that, because we're already separated enough. We don't need any more separation. Period.
Absolutely.
None of them give a damn about you.
Right. Thank you.
Right.
So
and you just see, and you see the big donors, the big, Mark Zuckerberg and Bezos, like these guys that have, amounts of money that could buy, countries.
Right.
Look what happened. Oh, all of a sudden, all of their support is now to try. They donate to. They're all for everyone. It's all a game. It's all like a game.
Well, the funny thing is with all, and I'm not going to go in depth in this because that's the whole
Yeah.
point. We're not going to, but the whole point is all these people, they do this whole back and forth thing over up there, the upper echelon. They do all that back and forth, and then they're having drinks behind the scenes, laughing at all of us. That's how I see it. That is why I don't get into it, because I don't trust it and I don't need to, and it has nothing to do with this. So we don't need to talk about it.
Just a real quick thing I want to say. I appreciate that was a nice moment of silence. I just wanted to say,
yes.
Hopefully, you as well as every other creator out there or anyone else, just remember that these were actually real people, and especially on their birthday. I mean, I know we're going to talk about there's so many different documents and things that came out, but just try to remember that it's so sad that these people get remembered for one horrific day. That's their end, when they had a whole life of all kinds of memories and everything, and that's what should be celebrated.
That is absolutely correct. And the one main thing that I've stressed many times that we need to remember, that the actuality is to the reason why we're here is for them. Okay, that's why we're all supposed to be here. To support the fact that we need truth and justice, to give these 4 victims. These were young, they're not kids, okay, but they were to us, okay. We all have children their age or a little bit older, some of them younger, whatever it is these kids were our future, okay, and they were taken from us in a way that it was just unbelievable, and it never needed to happen. So the reason why 90% of us are here, I'm hoping, is to ensure that it's known that there was no truth, no justice, no reality to the investigation that was related to the loss of these victims. And that's why I'm here. And I want to support that in any fashion that we can, folks. So that needs to be said more often, I believe. So thank you, 1-1, for your point. Thank you for joining us. Eddie, thank you again. If there was anything that offended you yesterday, my apologies. And Jesse, thank you for joining us as always. I appreciate all 3 of you gentlemen for being here today.
Thank you, Dave.
I'm so happy to get a chance to talk to you guys.
Absolutely. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's been going on. We've got autopsy documents. There's other things with documents. There's photographs that have been put out. Pavarotti has put some stuff out. Logan has put stuff out. Devil's Advocates has talked about certain things. I've talked about things. Jules, all of us, we're all going in the same direction, in my opinion, most of us. And we're looking for the same thing again today. And breaking down the fact that's why I titled this today. Why are we doing this today, guys? I want to know everybody's thoughts today. We're going to discuss and break it down as an open discussion. And that's where we're at with it. So welcome, gentlemen, again. And thank you very much for joining us. Looks like you're relaxing today, 1-1. No work today, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, the Knicks have their game 3 tonight. It'll be nice to be home. I won't have to worry about. I have no problem with, people celebrating and whatever. That's fine. But the problem is that certain people take advantage of that, and they get into this mob mentality, and they feel that all of a sudden celebrating gives them the okay to start setting cars on fire and looting stores.
Yeah.
I mean,
New York, NYPD.
It's not a foregone conclusion that they're going to win tonight either.
Right.
Yeah, Jesse's the sports guy. That's a good point. That's a good point. Either way, Jesse, you know how that works. Even if they lose, they have a tendency to do those crazy things, especially in New York City, So you get to avoid that stuff tonight, I take it?
Tonight, I'm off today.
Good for you, then. I'm sure that's a disaster walking. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. Well, it's good to hear that.
I know there's a million things I think there's a ton of documents I still didn't even look at yet. There were so many. One thing I caught, though, I'm sure you saw it or it was brought to your attention, but if not, I thought it was interesting that from the FBI interview, or half the interview that we actually got, because it's missing
piece of the interview, right?
Missing all kinds of pages. That, well, if assume that it's true in there. I don't know what we can assume is true or not anymore, really. But Dylan says that she texted her boyfriend on 11/13.
That she did.
Where the hell is the text message? Where is it? Why can't we see it?
Very good point. Very good question.
So I just bring it up because I know a lot of times we've brought up, well, Dylan never why didn't she ever message her boyfriend? Maybe he was right there. But in that interview, she says that she did message him. So
Right. Yep.
You know what? The first thing that came to my mind when all this stuff got released was?
What's that?
That Chris Whitcomb, Brent Turvey, Chris Holland all read this stuff before we read it. And I know Eddie was very skeptical of those fellows.
Yeah.
And I see Eddie and I have had some disagreements recently, but we were in full agreement on that, I believe. And
yeah.
I think Eddie was subsequently proven right, and I did share that opinion. And you weren't here one, but the three of us had a discussion, and I proposed the question. See, we both agreed that there was reason to be skeptical, but my point was, if the result is maybe Brian gets out of jail, and I proposed the question to Diego is, if Brian gets out of jail because of their work, is it worth it? And we all agreed that it was. But if that was the result. But I mean,
definitely. You're definitely right to be skeptical. I mean, a huge, kind of turn off or a huge red flag to me. And listen, I know Turvey is probably whatever. Uber's 1,000 times smarter than I am. Whatever. He's written 1 million books and helped with 1 million cases. But from my perspective, being involved in law enforcement, when someone tells me that the time, it doesn't matter that we hear screams at 2:27 or that's not important. I have a big problem with that, because to me, solving a crime, the timeline is probably one of the most critical pieces of information, besides obviously the physical evidence and DNA and all that other stuff. Timeline is critical. So for someone to tell me who's involved in forensics, and I would have asked him that if I got the opportunity to talk to him, I would say, how could you say the timeline isn't important? That makes zero sense. Zero.
Well, I don't have any credentials in law enforcement or anything else for that matter. I think I have a PhD in common sense, though.
Right.
And it just seems to me that there's a very large gap between what they portrayed and what we're seeing in these documents, or maybe very large is overstated, but there's certainly a gap. You know what I mean? There's things that I think we should feel disappointed that are coming out now that they did not allude to, or they painted, all three of them painted a bit of a different picture than what we're seeing with this new information.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. That is a very good point. And I will say the one that I'm mostly, I got to say the most skeptical of, be honest with you at this point, is Chris Holland. Thank you, Wellington, so very much.
As the other two. He didn't come across as sharp. He was maybe a little bit older and just
he looked
not
lost
time anymore.
He seemed lost to me. And I don't like to degrade people, tear them down. I don't know him. I don't do what he does. I don't have the education or the background that he does. But like you said, I'd like to say the same. I believe I have a PhD in common sense when it comes to certain things and just life, okay, in general. He's the one that I had the most skepticism with, the one that I questioned the most, the one that I said, why are you here? Why are you here? And what are you coming forth with? There's a reason why, in my opinion, all three of these gentlemen came out, and timing is of the essence, folks. Believe that. We know that. We've discussed timing means everything in this, in a case like this. So
it's funny, but according to some of them, it doesn't.
It does, right? Yes.
I don't think Chris Holland is any less honest than
no,
Turvey.
I agree with that. I
think he's just not as good at selling it. I think
Yeah.
Whitcomb's, you could see that Whitcomb is a master of conversation. He wins you over. He's an intelligent
CIA guy.
He's a CIA guy, right? So he studied this shit, right? So he's very he's very good at what he does, and he got his hooks into DA real quick. I saw that, but I could sort of see what he was doing. And Turvey has a different shtick, but he's also very good at what he does. And Chris Holland just didn't seem like he had that swagger about him.
He wasn't trying, right?
And the stories he was selling the same story, but he wasn't doing as good a job at it.
I agree. I do. Eddie, any thoughts on this thus far?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if you catch someone deceiving you one time, do you believe everything else, absolutely everything that they say to you afterwards?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. My wife came by.
You catch someone deceiving you. You caught them in a lie. You don't know this person. They just popped out of nowhere. They lied to you about something. Everything else that they tell you, do you just out of hand accept everything?
Well, okay. For me, I'll just give my point of view. First and foremost, let me say, I don't believe that everything is nefarious. I'll say it that first, okay? If they tell a story to us, they give us some information, whoever it is, first and foremost, I'm going to take into consideration who that person is, what their background is, why they're here, what it is, so on and so forth. I will listen to everything. Then in turn, I'm going to try to verify it because people make mistakes, okay? So what I'm saying is I can't go out of the gate and say, you lied to me, that's a lie, this is a lie, that's a lie. I know what you're saying, from that point forward, if something gets brought to you that's misinformation, a mistake, a lie, whatever it is, first, I try to differentiate if it is a lie for a nefarious reason, if it was possibly just a mistake, if it was a different form of that something. But before I go to the nefarious side, I try to verify through everything in my own mind. Then at that point, if I come, oh yeah, hold on 1 second, I'm almost done. At that point, when I come to that conclusion, if I realize this person is lying to me for a nefarious reason at that point forward, no, I don't believe that. I won't believe nothing else they say. Unfortunately, that's how that works. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I've been saying right from the beginning that I think it's what's called a limited hangout, and the whole point of a limited hangout is to offer you the truth, to pull you in, right? That is their whole shtick. That is the whole plan. Is we're going to give you this truth, and then allow you to verify it, and that's how they do it. If they lie about everything, it's not effective. It ruins their credibility. So what they do is they offer you the carrot, they give you this truth, but the whole objective is to steer you away from the greater truth. So that's how I feel. And this is the conversation that we had. I'm sure you guys remember it. It was about a month ago, I think,
right.
I sniffed that out right away, and so did Eddie, and I think we were all in agreement that this was a distinct possibility of what was going on. But and I think Eddie was clear that he didn't trust, because they were untrustworthy, he didn't trust anything they were saying. But what I said was, if it is a limited hangout, and if they have ulterior motives, if the hair in Ethan's hand is the truth that they're using to win us over, and that's useful in exonerating Brian, is it worthwhile for us to pursue it? And I think at least Dago and I agreed that it was. But yeah, I hear what Eddie's saying, but I do believe that they just wouldn't be very good at their job if they weren't giving us some truth. They have to give us some truth to execute their deception, is what I believe, Eddie.
Yeah, they do. But also, I mean, if you want to take into, going court-wise, I mean, that's what, in court, I mean, think about any of these guys. Again, like, I don't care how many accreditations, how many books, how many whatever. Think about like Turvey or Wickholm or any of these guys. If they were put on the stand and they said something and it was proven that they lied, well, that's it. They're finished. Well, they just, why would the jury, why would you believe anything else that they have to say? If you're talking about, possibly convicting someone and possibly giving him a death penalty, why would you believe Why would you believe anything that they have to say? Yeah, there could be some partial. Doesn't mean I get what you're saying, that every single thing they say is a lie and everything is nefarious. They have to try to give some truth, but what they already failed the litmus test, right? They're already if you haven't proven, there's clearly. I mean, there's so many red flags. I mean, DA did the interview. I mean, Whitcomb, his big thing, he's like going crazy over the beer pong table. He cared more about the beer pong table than the hair in Ethan's hand, or the hair, or what's not even mentioned as much.
The timeline.
The timeline, and Kaylee and Maddie had hair, also had hair with roots. Like that doesn't even get mentioned.
Those are my problems with him as well. With all three of them, the things that they pointed out that they said should be pointed to, and they're ignoring other things. Those are my issues too. But I think those are our answers, Eddie, going forward with what you were asking. Was there more to that?
What do you think of Blue Devil's comment? Their job was to discredit Anne.
I mean, in some aspects, it looks that way. Sure does. Absolutely. So you take it how you will, but it does seem that way. If you look at, or at least for two of them. Well, I don't think Whitcomb really did much of that. Turby came forward and did most of that. The third guy, like I said, I don't give Hohen much of anything for anything. So I can't really take anything he says as important. So, hey, Candy Girl, good to see you. But it could be. There could be many reasons. So if that's the case, though, Eddie, why? Let's ask the reason why at this point, because he's already in prison. He's already been convicted. Why would they want to do that? You know what I mean?
And,
I don't know.
And you talking about the limited hangout and that stuff, and absolutely, obviously I'm always on the panel, right, with JJ over there who brings this stuff up. You're right. Like if all of a sudden like a whole bunch of stuff seems to get flooded, and like what you were just saying, is it a coincidence that some of these books and some of these things coming out right now, like right now we have Cy Ray's book is coming out. Like I have that
coming, by the way.
So do I. Now, I'm not saying that Cy Ray has anything to do with them, but here's another thing. Right. And in the background, I know, what is it? September 3rd is like the final day, I think, right, for him to do
that. Yeah.
What is going on with the leak investigation? I mean, that's still ongoing as far as we know.
The second part of it, and this is the question I think we should all ask right here. The question that Lucy threw up here: why is private intelligence writing a book about the Idaho 4 at all? Think about that aspect of it.
Well, we had that conversation a month ago that, ex-FBI getting information from current FBI and friends from the FBI. They aren't whistleblowers. That's not what they do. That is not a thing that they do. And if they're coming out, there's going to be an ulterior motive. I disagree that it's to discredit Anne, because we don't, and this is where Eddie and I do disagree. I personally can't see any information that Anne poses a threat to the narrative, to exposing the real, whatever it is that they're trying to hide. I don't see her uncovering that. Now, I would want to believe that. I would hope that's happening. If it is, it's really on the down low, and it's the fact that I don't know it doesn't mean it's not happening. But there's just nothing that I can see that she poses a threat to them.
That's why I asked why would that happen? Why would they be out here to discredit her? Because
unless she is the only one that represents him honestly.
What do you mean?
Now, we are to believe that she's a scoundrel. She is one of the alumni of that, the product of the University of Idaho.
One of the bad actors, you're trying to say?
Right. She's a bad actor. She capitulated. They somehow, she's on board with doing what they're doing. And Turvey's, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, the fact that she wanted him to take the plate And then, the funny look and grin, and he follows it up quickly with, because he did take the plea after all. I mean, that was how he supported his position.
Sure.
Which is telling. I'll say it that
and
way.
I know some people do see her as, I've heard people say she's been on board with the prosecution the whole time. She's part of the problem, this, that. I've seen all that. I've never believed in that. I question everything. We all know that. I've said that. I'll question it all. I'll listen to it all. But I'm at the same time, I'm going to question it all before I'm going to make any kind of formal decision in my own mind. And at that point, and I'm still not there because I haven't heard other things from her side of things. So
well, she won't stoop to their level. I mean,
that I understand. That I understand.
That just won't be happening. Because can you imagine if she did, the fallout from that?
Of course.
It might appease you and your, impertinent curiosity or whatever, but it won't do her any good, because the other, population of the United States and beyond would flame her and have something to actually pick apart.
Right. Yeah. No, I've never, I want to clarify, I've never even taken into consideration that Ann Taylor was working with the prosecution, that she was part of the game, that, as I call it, never, ever. I've said I have questions for her, just out of curiosity, the things that I've seen and asked, I'm going to ask questions about it, but it's never because I've ever thought she was a bad actor working with everybody else to take him apart. I've never believed that. I can't.
I've speculated that she might have got the call.
Well, I have thought, has she been, because we were told she was threatened. Was she threatened? Was she told, hey, you need to play ball with this, or this is going to happen? Of course, I've thought about that. But, it's a hard swallow for me to believe that she took, that she took that on board. Now, I said this before. If somebody contacted her somehow and said, listen, people do this, by the way. We know you have 4 daughters. We know this, we know that, and made threats to her about her family or something like that. Could she have said, is this worth, worrying about this or having a possibility of something going down? Probably not, because it's not her life, so on and so forth. Now, being the professional she is, I don't see her being that person too much. I can't process that, you guys. But again, anybody, if you threaten their livelihood, not even so much their livelihood, but their family. And with what we've seen in this case, it doesn't fall far from my mind that somebody would threaten somebody, okay? But again, I agree with the whole, she's an attorney. She's a professional. I'm sure she's been threatened in the past by other people. So I can't imagine she would fall into that, okay? That's all my thinking process goes to with her. And it's just an opinion. I respect anybody else that thinks that it could happen. I respect all your guys' opinions. You know how I do this. So, me personally, I just don't see her falling into that batch of a mess, okay? I've questioned it, but I don't believe in it, is all I'm saying.
I will say that, Eddie's correct, that the reputations of Whitcomb and Turvey and Holland take a beating with the new release of this information that would sort of lead us to believe that they weren't painting an accurate picture. It doesn't.
It's hard to believe they do that, Jesse, isn't it? With their background.
How hard could it be? On day one, when they came out, we had this conversation because that's exactly what we suspected. And like I just said, ex-FBI agents in coordination with other ex and current FBI agents aren't in the business of being whistleblowers. That's just not what they do. So when you see that, your spidey sense should be jumping all over the place anyways. So and it was, and Eddie was correct, and Eddie still is correct. But I will say that the new information that comes out, and I'm not a legal expert, so I will lean on the opinions of people like Pav and Lana, but I'm sure Eddie follows them as more diligently than I do even. And even they're starting to have their doubts about the way she was arguing the case, based on, now that we know more information that's available to us, her tactics are being questioned more. And I think that's fair. And, I don't have all I'm just stating what those are the facts. Pav and Lana are asking a lot more questions because there's a lot more. Why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that?
Sure.
And that's just the way it is. That is not disputable.
And it doesn't, just because you're questioning something doesn't mean you're attacking somebody. Okay, I'm gonna ask the questions myself.
Right.
I'm always gonna. I think we should question everything. I don't care who it is.
Absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
These three guys came out. The thing I have an issue with these three now at this point, now I realize it. Each one of these guys, and JJ made a good point with this when he said this on the Crimes After Dark panel the one night. Each one of these gentlemen have promoted themselves to the public as a contractor of sort. Well, we all know what contractors are with the government, okay? The FBI doesn't have contractors. When you do a contract work with the FBI, you're moving up in the world, okay? I'll just put it that way. You're doing other things. Every one of them has done something in that aspect. Why in the hell are they coming forth on the Idaho 4 case is what the biggest question to me is, with people in that pocket, okay? Therefore, that's where my issue lies with that, okay? I know we've discussed this in different variations of it, but that's my biggest problem. Go ahead.
Is it fair to say that in a case like this, they're going to be on one team or the other team? They're not organic and just like unbiased, right? Or am I wrong?
Well, I think they're hired guns. I mean, they have a clear objective that they want to achieve. I don't know what that is. I think it's to steer us away from catching on to the real
Bingo.
truth, whatever the real truth is. And they could care less about Kohberger if the whole world finds out that Kohberger didn't do it, and that prevents us from finding out who did or what's being covered up here. That's their objective.
Very good point, Jesse, and I fully agree with you.
But another thing that was very suspicious about the way they choosing DA as his first speaking engagement, and this is no disrespect to DA at all, but even DA would have to admit that there's a lot of other places that you could, choose to go to and sell more books from. It seems like they were targeting a specific demographic of guys like us, which, we could be flattered, but we could also wake up to the fact that doesn't make a lot of sense.
JJ made another point when he said what he said with that. He goes, these are, like I said, contractors coming forth on a murder case out of nowhere. One second.
Right. And a big thing too with these guys is you have to look at how they answer the questions too. Obviously it's like enormous amount of evidence and different things. You can't expect everyone to remember every little detail of everything, but the way that they answered certain questions tells a lot.
Well, what I was going to get to is what JJ said. He made a point. I told you guys this last week sometime. I can't believe it. And he made me start thinking, as he always does. What if it came to the point where we come to realize that even the basics of this case, okay? And I know you remember this one. Even the basics of the case that we've been given from the beginning, the things that you almost have to believe, not all the details, but all the basic stuff that presented the case to us from the beginning, the things that there's no reason to not believe per se. What if even those things are wrong, folks? What if they told us the wrong story from the beginning with everything, other than the fact that they were murdered on that day and they died that day? Everything around that, everything else around that, what if it's all wrong from that point? And that's something that made me go, oh my God.
Aren't we already halfway there?
Kind of. That's why it flipped the switch in my head. You know what I mean?
That being said, to be very honest, I'm not surprised about it. I can't even name the thing that I'm surprised about, because everything that's coming out has been discussed on this channel 2 years ago, 3 years ago. At the end, one thing that blows my mind is that place was a massacre, right? There was people that were just absolutely massacred. And they called the cops, or they called 911 and said, our friend drank too much and passed out. And for anybody to have ever entertained that as even a possibility it shows a lack of intelligence, in my opinion, to believe that there was anybody involved in this that ever thought that Xana passed out. It never made sense. I've been saying that for 3 years. Every chance they let me speak on here, I say that. And it really upsets me when people say that, well, Hunter Johnson, it's not his fault. They just called him over. He didn't know. Bullshit. Everybody that was there had to know. And we also know that Dave's, and I do trust Dave, and I do trust WSU Kim to a certain degree. And these people told us beforehand what all happened. Everything they've said is every document. Has any document come out that's debunked anything that they said? No. It's all lined up. The more information we get, the more it lines up.
The more it lines up.
And they had told us specifically that almost every kid in the know, every kid in that group knew exactly what happened in that morning. And I can't stray away from that. There is no innocent party. It's not Bethany, Dylan. It's Emily, Hunter, Josie, Lyndon, the whole, 30 kids.
Everybody. And Kim said that.
And all the comps and,
many people know what happened, in my opinion.
And nobody thought for a second it was somebody passed out or.
Never. They knew. Nobody in the house knew or thought that. No, none of them. Okay, there's no way you could, Jesse. There's no way you could ever think that this was just somebody passed out. That's bullshit.
But as we've discussed so many times on this channel already, we didn't need the documents to come out to know that. I've known that for 3 years.
Common sense.
And we've had these conversations over the last 3 years and it blows my mind that, a lot of people pushed back and said, no, that's not the case. But, and some people are still pushing back. Even recently, I've seen people, Chris Holland said that Hunter Johnson had nothing to do with anything. He was completely innocent. Blows my mind.
These are the same people that are saying that the 2:27 a.m. scream is a party scream. That when you make a statement like that, I'm walking away from you at that point. Okay, we're done talking. We're done. Right. We're done. And again, you don't have to have any severe knowledge to understand that making a statement about that scream when you hear it and saying, "Oh, they're just having a good time." Are you out of your fucking mind? What are you hearing? Because you're not hearing what I'm hearing. That's when we have a problem. When we hear that, I have to walk away from you at that point and start listening in another direction. Sorry.
I mean, you could make that argument if there wasn't a house full of dead kids, but you hear a scream that, and there's a house full of dead kids. I mean, that's the point, Jesse. Right there, you can't disconnect that. You cannot disconnect that. I'm sorry. And if you try to, once again, I'm walking away from you. Go ahead, Eddie.
So I have a question for everyone on the panel, well, and in chat too. At this point, do we believe that law enforcement was covering this up from before the 911 call?
Yes.
I don't see any other way to look at it, Eddie. Honestly, at this point, how does it make sense any other way?
As I just said, anybody who arrived there and believed the story that they were selling,
you need your head checked, right?
You should be locked up. Yeah, I mean,
thank you. Right.
You should be wearing diapers. They should be feeding you right, yeah. Food. I mean,
I get it.
I just don't believe that there's anybody that showed up on that scene, heard that story, and believed it.
Nobody.
It's just not possible.
Well,
not possible.
Okay. Good point. To point to this too is when you watch Officer Mitch Nunez walk into the house on his body cam, the reaction that he has, even the stuff we didn't see or hear because they redact everything from us, making a statement such as, it looks like he took his own life, and then Warner says, "How did you get there?" Well, all the blood. What? So no, there's no way anybody, because I believe everybody, and I'm going to say this to go with what you were saying, Jesse, everybody that we know, Dylan, Bethany, Hunter, Josie, Emily, Lyndon, every one of them saw that scene, in my opinion. And they all know there's blood everywhere. So to say, well, I think they just passed out because they drank too much. You're a liar. End of story. Cut it off right there. You're lying.
I mean, I think 111's the appropriate person to answer this question, because if he was summoned to a residence for something like this, and you walk in and you see a scene like that, and the people that summoned you didn't make you aware of that, wouldn't your immediate reaction be to draw a gun on them and cuff them and
Yes,
and treat them as hostile, a potential danger to you?
lay on the floor and put your hands above your head. Thank you.
Well, Hunter would definitely have been placed in cuffs immediately. I mean, he's holding. You don't know who this guy is. He's holding a knife.
On a knife.
He would have been placed in cuffs. You can.
Thank you, Moto.
Placing someone in handcuffs doesn't mean they're under arrest. So
you can detain them, right?
Dylan and Bethany, you know, not necessarily that you would have your gun on them, but they definitely would have been Bethany, Dylan, and Hunter. All three of them.
Separated into a vehicle.
As soon as you know, obviously your main thing is that there's no other threat in the house. You have to clear the house, and they did such a piss poor job. I mean, he put up the crime scene tape before he even finished clearing the house.
Thank you.
Like that, so he did put up the tape pretty quick.
Let me speak on this real quick. I'm sorry. Thank you, Moto. And I'm kind of with you on this, bro. I'm starting to expect that. I know what you're saying, that there was an earlier 911 call that's being covered up. Now I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
That is interesting, because other people have said this because of the call we've heard. It was either something in that realm or there was a phone call made. Okay, which is what I'm gonna go more along the lines with. There was a phone or a couple phone calls made to people from the people in that house that said, hey, here's a situation going on, or what's going on, or this is what happened, or whatever you want to call it. And it was known at that point. In turn, moving forward, that's how this all goes down.
And they had such a and we know that contract.
Moto.
We know that contract that the college had with MPD. Did this go all the way up? You know, high in the chain there to like Scott Green or to someone high up in the university police there.
Yes,
or whatever, and they got involved early on. You know.
I mean, something there has to make that make sense, 1-1. So that's my thought. You know, did somebody make a phone call at 5 a.m. and say, hey, this just happened? Or was it even worse? They're like, hey, okay, it's done. Now what do we do? And that's where I'm at with this at this point, you guys. I'm sorry to say it. Okay, thank you, SRB, and welcome, Kane. So honestly, I have to go with that. You know, that's the only thing that makes this make any sense. So.
Yeah, because you know the thing, you know, and I know it bothers everyone, but what really gets to me, you know, you have to evaluate, right, behavior, and words do mean something, and you know, like reading through these FBI interviews and the grand jury testimony, whatever, and you know, you'll get like a 1 or 2 minute answer from Dylan where she basically she was in heightened alert, right? She ran downstairs and apparently she did call. Now, what I always talk about, pattern of behavior, right? And this is kind of like what didn't make sense to me, because when they talked about like a month before, right? They went shopping, came back, and the door was open. They went and got golf clubs, went through the house, and Dylan said she called her boyfriend right away. So I was like, well, why wouldn't she call her boyfriend in this case where you actually saw someone in black? You can't get a hold of your roommates. But apparently she did, you know, according to the FBI thing there, you know, we haven't seen the message. She did message her boyfriend. So again, it's
show it to me then. Show it to me and prove it to me then.
Right.
That's where I'm at. Well, can you hear me, Kane?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want you to hear me.
How's everybody doing? Happy Monday to you. I wanted to jump in here. I think I had an answer for Jesse. Really.
Keep going. I'll be right back. I gotta grab my other drink.
Jesse, you were asking. Well, I don't know what the intended motive was for Whitcomb and the other Muppet, Turvey. And with Turvey, it's it's to discredit Anne, and it worked. You know, he's got, you know, the 1 percentile that still believed in Anne strongly, questioning her, now pointing fingers at her, doubting her. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, he did do that, so I mean, I can't very well disagree, because he did do that, and that was the result. I don't think Turvey's the ringleader, though. I think Whitcomb's the ringleader. I mean, he quite clearly comes across as the intelligent one, the most intelligent one. Turvey is intelligent in a different way, and Holland is clearly the weakest link, in my opinion. I just don't see the motivation for such a concerted effort. Like, we're talking a big deal here to hire ex-FBI, and now there's 3 guys that are, you know, I mean, you'd have to pay for that kind of an effort.
I got to jump in quick, though, and you're not wrong. You're calling him ex-FBI. He was, but he also stated in numerous times, he also worked for the CIA, which is a whole nother animal in itself. So,
yeah, and again, it's not a small thing to recruit a team headed by an ex-CIA, FBI, and to get Turvey involved in Holland, who also has intelligence ties, I believe, which is almost hard to believe, because he didn't appear to be he appeared to be a beat cop on the back end of his days, the way he spoke. Anyways, no disrespect toward beat cops, but Holland just did not come across as sophisticated, in my opinion. And I just don't see that kind of effort directed towards discrediting Anne, because what do they need to do? Anne has all outward projections from what we can see is Anne has said he's pled guilty, he's guilty, and she hasn't come forward and said anything other than that. So what is there to discredit, and why would that be so important to do?
Could they be getting ahead of something that you don't yet understand?
I mean, she could be, but that's a hell of a lot of a leap for me to take when I'm not privy to that information. And Eddie, I've always said, you may well be right. I just don't know why I should come to that conclusion at this point without the information to do so. Does that sound fair?
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's fair. You know, throughout this entire case, I've struggled for years in trying to communicate with everybody how I can see that Brian Kohlberger is innocent, and it was near impossible to begin with. But I kept at it, and there was like many ways I could try to explain it, and it was a struggle, and I'm feeling the same experience with this. I wish I could say it in a way that would help everyone to see it the way I'm seeing it, but I think this one will just have to come in time as well.
I think most things do with stuff like this too, Eddie, unfortunately.
Eddie, are you familiar with JJ's theories on the whole thing?
No. Well, Kane shared a little bit last night about, the WSU 400 million. And I would agree with that. And, Dago, I would ask you, you say, well, it doesn't make sense for these gentlemen to come out and do that to their reputation. But does it make sense that a family member would not want true justice for their child?
That's correct.
So it's easy to see that, in a strange way, that they, in a case like this, would definitely, it would definitely be possible that something that doesn't make sense they would do, right, to obfuscate the public on what's going on with this case.
Yes, and it's something else. Once again, JJ, from Crimes After Dark that we have up there with us, made another point too, and I don't know how you would feel on this, Eddie, but he said, we started talking about whistleblowers coming forward on this. This is something we said that we could see possibly coming. I even said I feel kind of gut feeling something's going to roll over on this somewhere. Something's going to happen weird. Then he said something, once again, JJ likes to make people think, and he does a very good job at doing that, and said, so let me ask you guys then, so if a whistleblower comes forward, and I think this plays into the ballpark of where we're at with this, why do you believe them? Well, what do you mean? So if a whistleblower comes forward, and I'm going to give you an answer to this too. Why do we automatically believe what that whistleblower is saying? Okay. That's a great point, JJ. That's a great point that he made, because why would we automatically believe him? And I have an answer. I have an answer for that, in my opinion, from my side of things, because we want to. Okay. And I think that's partially what's going on here with this, Eddie.
That's a great question by JJ.
It is because he's right. Like, and I agree with him, because he's very, very on point with this, because we've been so hardcore pressed on this case from day one. Okay. We want so badly to get truth out of this that it's very easy if somebody comes forward and they buck the system per se. Okay. And they say, well, this is what actually happened. That's all they have to say, is throw those words out there. Here's the truth, or that they could say that too. And if it's different than what we know, we're automatically going to go, oh shit. Okay. Because we want to hear that. We want to hear the truth so bad with this. A lot of people, and I'm saying myself as well. And I'm not saying everybody, because I'm sure there's people that will say, no, I don't believe that, whatever, that's fine. But JJ made a great point, and he really got my gears turning with this. So now, as I've been saying, and a lot of us do, we got to question everything. I don't care who it is, what it is. I don't care if God himself comes forward and says, this is what happened. And please excuse the phrase, guys. I'm definitely not rude. But you know what I mean? We're going to question what happened. Like Eddie said, you got family members that are saying and doing things that make no sense. Why would they do that? Why would anybody do anything that could cause a problem in the wrong direction with this is the biggest issue here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw that out there.
And, I mean, and you can look up. I mean, I think he did a whole bunch of interviews with Combe, like on not just about this case, on other stuff, and he'll tell you one of the main when you go into the CIA, one of the main, especially like I guess kind of things that he was involved in, one of the main kind of talents that you're taught is how to lie correctly.
Yes.
So you're very good at manipulation, very good at feeding into people's emotions, becoming friends with people, that whole
manipulation tactics, right?
And Chris Whitcomb came across as everything like what you're just saying.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
allegedly.
I agree.
He did. Now, don't get me wrong. I will say there are some things that were brought to the table from this stuff happening. I do believe they're not, hardcore heavy duty things, but I do believe some of this stuff because at some point it's been proven. But you really got to make sure you're looking at it all to make sure that it's the right thing, in my opinion.
I mean, Whitcomb said there were he knows of 3 fights that occurred. Why can't we know who the 3 fights were? Now, did they have anything to do with the murders or not? I mean, I don't know. Why can't we know about it?
Right. And why can't you speak on certain things that you're saying? You can tell us all this other stuff, but that you said you won't talk on.
Right. Exactly. Why? You could tell us about a batch of hair in Ethan's hand, but you can't tell us about 3 fights that occurred.
That's a huge point. One. That's a huge point.
Riddle me this. Why would Turvey reach out to this cowboy Muppet Hall? What about his personality tells you that he relies on anybody else's opinion for anything? And this guy gets up there and he's raided Colt Seaver's wardrobe, and he's decided to step out of the shadows and offer his opinion on this whole case. Late in the game, after the game, overtime's over, everybody's left the stands.
I have an answer for you, Kane.
Go for it, buddy.
And I don't know if you guys have this dynamic in your friend group, but throughout high school, college, your adult life as males, if you hang out with groups of people, maybe on a sports team or something, there's going to be like your circle, your inner circle, your A crowd, but there's going to be that kind of guy he's just there. He hangs around. He, endorses everything you say. He wants to be involved. He's not really one of the power brokers in the
it's like a yes man. Yeah.
Like your yes man, right? Your ball boy, right? The ball boy on the football team, and that's what Chris Holland comes across like to me.
Protection Larry times 10.
Corporal Prain.
And I mean, the reason why Turvey keeps a guy like that around is because he's clearly an egomaniac.
And he needs validation.
And so he needs that yes man he knows that he's just going to, In fact, basically Holland said those exact words. He said, Turvey hired me to go over his work and tell him where he went wrong.
And validate it.
You're just looking at Holland thinking, you're never going to, there's no way you've probably never told Turvey in his life that he's ever been wrong about anything. And
Bingo.
You're not even capable of that.
Thank you. Yes, that's a big, huge point, Jesse. Good answer too.
And he said he learned under him. He learned under him. Right.
Yes, absolutely. That's like Michael Jordan teaching somebody how to play basketball, and the kid makes a shot that's better than Michael Jordan's, and he's not gonna make no notice of that by any means whatsoever. Nope, that was a shitty shot. I can't do better than you, bro. No way in hell. Absolutely. That's 100% perfect, Jesse. That points exactly to what I was thinking, because that you need this, and again, I think it plays back to Turvey's, and I hate to say it, but his ego. Okay, Turvey needs the validation. In my opinion, he needs the like he saw people were going at him right away.
Right.
So let's bring this guy out and say, hey, no. He's amazing. He's the best. I learned under him. Look at what I, which was probably a bad person to use, because Holland didn't win me over with anything. I think he's a joke. That's my opinion, but I'm just saying. But yeah, that's a great point, Jesse, to put out there, because that's exactly how I saw it. Truly.
This is gonna sound a little bit like the pot calling the kettle black, but I do have another opinion about Holland and Turvey. I think they both like a drink. I think they're both drinkers, and I think that's how the relationship is sustained, is through consumption of a lot of alcohol. And I know people are probably thinking themselves, but you're on here drinking wine every night. You guys got to keep in mind it's like 3 a.m. when I come on here, and it's usually on the weekend, and I'm very functional. I'm not usually as intoxicated as you guys get to see me sometimes.
I can almost visualize what you just said, and Turvey sitting there saying, "Tell me again how great I am."
Well, don't they display those characteristics of guys that really like to drink?
Yeah,
but
yes,
right,
I got it.
But Dago, but then that's where I would like to. I would love to go right at him and not tear him apart, but I would go right at him like, you're so smart and all this stuff and great, and you wrote 1 million books, and you figured out all this crime scene manipulation, and you're great at recognizing patterns. How can you sit there and tell me, timeline doesn't matter? Like, that's like crime scene. Was said earlier today. You don't have to be in law enforcement to realize that timeline absolutely is important. If we can have some kind of concrete proof that the murders occurred at 2 a.m. and we have concrete proof that BK could not have possibly been there at 2 a.m. Well, there is your super exculpatory evidence, because you can't be in two places at one time, right? So,
right. And don't get me wrong, you guys. I'm not completely like degrading Dr. Turvey. Okay, I'm not doing that. I don't do that. You guys know I'm not going to jump on. I'm
absolutely
team this
not.
And team that.
But that was my biggest gripe with him. But so whatever, he said a bunch of stuff. But my biggest thing with him when he said that oh, it doesn't matter what you hear at 227. What? Excuse me? What do you mean it doesn't matter?
It absolutely does. And a timeline in a murder case, especially this case, is so very important to me. I'm sorry, SRB. I agree with her. Timelines are huge.
And then you get I know Holland was axed too. All these guys, all these guys were axed. I don't know. I'm sure on one of the shows, I'm sure someone asked Turvey as well, although he said it doesn't matter.
They did.
Apparently, we can't get a concrete answer as to when Ethan and Xana got home. So you're going to tell me timeline doesn't matter, but we don't know when they got home. Like that.
I agree. I do agree.
Well, and that's the biggest clue is what they don't want to talk about. What they don't want to tell you is exactly that's when you're right over the target, right? And I believe that's their goal, and it's not so much as discrediting Anne. I think it makes more sense that that's their goal is to steer us away from the correct timeline.
Controlling the narrative. Yeah,
and maybe we should be flattered that he goes to DA and he hangs in this circle, because maybe what it really is hey, these guys are getting close. And in fact, Chris Whitcomb a few times really glazed Lana a lot. He was glazing a lot of people, but he glazed Lana more than anybody, I think. And that might be an indication. What's that?
He tried.
He was buttering her muffin right here on Dago's show from the get.
Yeah. Well, I think he definitely. Yeah, it's an indication that she was over the target.
But she called them out. She called them out too. And she called him out too.
That's why she did it. She called him out too. She said, "How about okay, I know you can't say certain things, or whatever your sources. Okay, let me have access to some of the stuff. Then show it to me, so I can, then she could, so I could verify it." That never happened. And again, I think there was a bit of a fear with Lana because Lana does true investigative reporting. She looks. Yeah. And Diggs, Pavarotti, and her both, in my opinion, are, like I said before, two of the hardest working investigative reporters out here on YouTube, period. Thank you, Moto, real quick. The video starting at 01:30 and greater times are probably the closest things we will get to the true timeline. How many of you guys saw the Mark B video that was put out that Lana, I think he gave it to Lana first, okay?
It's excellent.
I'll be honest with you guys. Nothing is written in stone for me with this case, nothing. But that was a really interesting point and video that he did, and I think he did a great job with it. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Logan brought it up for us on the verdict room the other night. It makes some sense. Yeah. And here's the thing that I've noticed with all three of these. And again, I'm not degrading them completely. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying that I don't believe everything that they've shown. I will say that, and I question everything they've shown. Okay, and once again, Holland means nothing to me. Nothing he has said has grabbed me anywhere. I know that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Like he couldn't hook me with anything. He just seems.
He's the ball boy.
Yeah, that's absolutely good point, Jesse. He means nothing as far as I'm concerned. No disrespect to him as a person, but he does nothing for me.
Go get your shine box.
Yeah. There you go. So the other two, I'm not gonna fully. Push them out of the picture. I listen to some things, but you're not going to win me over that way. I lost my point. The point that I was going to make, though, is I said in the beginning, timing is everything. Okay. It's interesting. We get to a certain point in this case, and here's things being released. Timing. We got documents dropped right after these guys appeared. That's kind of interesting to me. I'll tell you right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. It just think about it. You can't ignore that stuff, guys. We've seen that through this whole case. Every time. So, and there's things going on with the WSU case. All of this stuff is happening, and then all of a sudden, think, these guys get dropped into the mix. That's the only thing I have to say. If you ignore it, you need to go back and look at it.
Yeah. The thing that annoys me, that pisses me off, and again, I'm not attacking the families, and I understand they have a $400 million lawsuit and all. Right. And all that other stuff going on, but it bothers me when they show up, all these different interviews and stuff going on, and they'll say like, no, there's no other evidence. BK definitely did this alone, and all this stuff. Like, Are you even looking at any of the documents? Are you looking at anything that's coming out? How could you even forget about, because we don't know what to believe from Dylan and Bethany and some of the interviews from MPD and all that were like kid glove interviews, right? It wasn't even really an interview. I don't know what you call it, but the actual, look at the autopsy report. How could you go through that autopsy report and you see all these different injuries, all this stuff? Then on top of that, we know that there was a cleanup, some kind of cleanup, and you're still gonna go out there and say, "Oh, BK did this by himself in 5 minutes." I mean, come on. It annoys me. Like, you want the truth? I don't like to attack the family, but I can't see saying how you want the truth so badly. And that's not even to say BK is fully innocent. Maybe he has some kind of involvement or something. But if he does, there's no way he did it by himself. Impossible. No way. Not with what we've seen.
I still think the gun being mentioned in the interview with the I don't know if that was Moscow or ISP, but the subject says, "I think I saw a gun. I didn't think so at first, but now I'm starting to think it was a gun." Well, that can't. How can that get glossed over and never followed up on? How can Turvey and Holland and Whitcomb obviously having access to those documents, read that, see that, and interpret that any differently than the way I'm interpreting it is? It's a staged interview. I mean, at that point, it's not a real interview.
And that's saying that. What else is real, though? I got to agree with GB and call it how it is: money, 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 instead of justice, justice, justice. That's what it is in a nutshell. Yes, everything points back to money in some aspect, or almost every aspect. Money and power, like I've been saying for years, folks. Power and money.
I honestly think though it's big money and power. Like we're talking like political, very
yeah,
high up there. We know that the leader of the Christ Church is in tight with the Secretary of War or whatever.
Yeah.
So there is not a direct, but some indirect connections to the current administration. But I mean, I think this has got to be big because, and I know I mentioned the same things over and over again, but the reason I mention them is because I believe they're important. And when Megyn Kelly is on her own damn show with a couple lawyers and they start attacking her on her own show,
yeah,
that was huge to me. That was because we're talking Megyn Kelly is a pretty powerful person.
Oh yeah,
a pretty powerful media personality, and for her to get shut down on her own show, and it became clear to me that it was all. I feel like I witnessed her being threatened. Like,
I agree,
Megyn, your career's over if you don't shut up now.
Shut it down now, right?
They didn't say that, but that's how I interpreted it.
You could see it, Jesse. You could physically watch it happen on her show that day. When you pointed that out to me, I went and watched it. I went, "Wow, that's it. That's what it is."
And there's been a few incidences like that, and I've also made references to the people in this community that have completely shut down. Like they got the same call. There's been quite a few people that I believe have gotten, and so I guess we should all feel insulted that we're not big enough to get the call. But
that's okay.
But no, there's been a bunch of people that have just turned it about face as if they've become aware that this is dangerous to their health, kind of thing, and that shit doesn't happen unless we're talking big deals.
Yeah, you're right. Let me give you an example, guys. If you remember, Jesse, Eddie, I know you do, and some of the people in the chat here, when this first started, Drunk Turkey, I'm going to use that example, okay? We were going back and forth on each other's panels, having discussions about this, and he was open to hearing different things, okay? As I was too. He always, for the most part, has said Brian was guilty from what I can remember. But he was a lot more open to, well, it could be other things here possibly, and this could be other things, and that could be other things. Okay. And at some point, that shut down and locked out completely, and there was nothing else but period.
That's a great example, Dago. That's a really good example.
And things got dark over there with that too, very much. And that's in my opinion the perfect example of that situation, Jesse. And we know there was contact between him and certain people. And at that point, you know, I'm not accusing of anything. I'm just saying I had to go, what the hell happened? And wow, you know what I mean?
What about that channel Publicly Buzzed? We were friendly with them too as well.
Oh yeah, they shut down.
That guy's been going on Twitter and on YouTube and going, if you think Brian Koberger is innocent, when he does these things like a childish stuff, right? Like
yeah, absolutely. It makes no sense.
They went quite mental with it, and it's like, well, what are you guys even doing?
Just like I follow Defense Diaries, Bob and Allie. I mean, amazing people, very intelligent, very smart stuff. But when it comes to this case, hell no. Nope. Everything they covered on the Idaho case, the Indiana, Jesus Christ.
Delphi.
I'm sorry. Delphi. There we go. Thank you, Jess. Everything. I mean, he was on point with it, but you mentioned this case and holy shit. No. And it's like, wow. Okay, I got you. You know, I still respect Bob and Allie very much. And I still watch their stuff. Not with this case, though, because it's one way or no way. End of story. They stopped doing it. We watched Andrea Burkhart, somebody that a lot of us respected and followed. I still respect her very much, and I still would watch it, but she shut down and locked out like that. Many people did. And it was all based on, well, he said he did it. No, he didn't. He took a plea deal that he was cornered into, in my opinion, and that doesn't mean that's the end of the road.
They all covered Richard Allen. He said he did it like 10 times in writing and actually
yes,
you know, wrote in his own handwriting that he did how he did it and everything. So that is not an adequate excuse, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
And apparently, you know what we know now, BK, they wanted to do the Albert plea, but he wasn't allowed to. So
if that's a true statement, you guys, that's interesting to me. That's something else that was that's another problem.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Okay, hold on 1 minute here, okay? 1 second here. Listen, Love and Other Habits. I try to watch and catch as many. There's 400 and almost 500 people in here. I have 3-4 people on a panel with me. I'm doing my best, hon. I promise. I do pull your comments all the time. I'm trying to see them, and if I don't get to them in time, they roll off, so I don't get to see some of them. I promise you I'm not ignoring you. I'm trying to follow everything, but 500 people in here is a lot to follow up with. So I promise you I'm trying to catch them because everybody's opinions and feelings are very important to me. It's just it's hard to catch them all.
They're all here for Jesse's good looks.
That's exactly what it is.
Stagger.
Yes. Jesse's good looks and Kane Muppets.
This could be an optometrist convention. And they all need glasses. Okay.
Right. I can't. Oh wait. Okay. So true too. His ego was hurt when he went ham on Ann. Turby had to tell the giggle and the drink. I'm not 100% what you mean on that, hon. I'm sorry. So I think you were responding to somebody else back here. I'm trying to catch them. I promise you I am, but a lot of them have rolled off because
she might have just been responding to me saying that they both appear to be drinkers. Turvey and Holland came across to me like, I think they both drink more than I do, and if they drink more than I do, that's probably an issue.
You said that, bro. You said that. I would never say that. You know I love you, but damn.
He quote you on that, right, Jess?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't think Jesse's very respectful, whether he's drinking or not, in my opinion.
Kicks in the door of the saloon and at the top of his lungs, get away from my boy Turvey. That's my boy.
Okay, and this here, I'm going to explain to you once again. I don't have favorites. I've never played favorites. I've always paid attention to my chat. It's not how I do that. I don't know who you go to that does that. That's not me. I read the full chat. I interact with everybody as much as I can. There's 500 people in here. It's very hard to see it all. And I'm not that quick, so my apologies. So talking back and forth between each other, saying that, I'm doing this or doing that is not true. I'm very sorry that you feel that way. Okay.
When I'm in chat, my comments get skipped all the time. I don't take offense.
I don't even get to speak on my own mind sometimes. It's my channel. So
it's difficult for everybody.
Eddie back here quiet for the most part the whole time because he probably afraid to open his mouth and say anything. But go ahead, bud.
I watched the whole thing on Hover Round, or what's his name, Herbie. He did he proclaim how much his leather-bound book collection was worth also as well, or did he refrain from that? Was that just Turvey?
I did not. What did you say? Say that again.
You don't remember Turvey telling us that his book collection behind him was worth $30,000?
Oh, yeah. I do. He had quite a book collection, though. I mean, you got to say that.
To your point moments ago, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
Why some of those channels, we don't have to go over them and list them again, but we just spoke of some of them, why they won't cover it now, because quite possibly there would be like, my question would be, what aspect of the case would they cover, from the corruption aspect that they can't overlook now, or from like just the trial, Brian Kohlberger part of it? And while doing the latter, purposefully discredit themselves and overlook the corruption part of it.
Dago, are you? I'll answer if nobody else has got to answer. So as far as Bob and Ali, I don't think they ever really covered the Idaho 4 anyways. I watched them read the documents one day, and they got halfway through the documents and they were saying he's guilty, and they were pronouncing everybody's name wrong, and I was arguing with them in the chat, but they didn't really cover it. As far as Andrea Burkhart, she wasn't just covering the case. I mean, she was sitting in the hearings, traveling to Moscow to be there.
Thank you, love.
She was all in on this case. And, like I said, I saw her cover Karen Reed. I saw her cover Delphi. And I guess what I would expect from her would be to cover it in the same way, with the same passion and the same follow-up.
Yes. Thank you.
And that's what I would expect from her. And the fact that she stopped doing that,
it doesn't make it.
She might well have a good reason, but I don't know what that reason is.
And Love and Other Habits. I just wanted to make sure you understood, hon. I want anybody to think. I've seen people make comments stating that Dago ignores his chat, blah blah blah. I just don't want anybody to think that. And I thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, but I just want everybody to know I do really, truly, honestly try to follow with the chat and catch questions and all that. So thank you for the super chat. Again, you didn't have to do that. And thank you for understanding. William Tardy, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you being here, and thank you for that. Looks like we have another one towards our new goal. So thank you, Tardy, for that. For being here, sir. I always appreciate you. Go ahead, guys. Sorry about that.
I think to summarize my thoughts would be that if they covered it, there'd be no way for them to win. It'd be lose-lose.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Very much.
That makes sense.
I would like to follow up by just saying that some of the things we've just mentioned, like the Megyn Kelly thing, the Andrea, and not just her, but a few other creators that have sort of gone in a certain direction, it feels like there's heavy pressure coming from a big place. And some of the theories around, like I've mentioned a few times, and it's kind of an unpopular opinion because Pavarotti's one of the more popular creators, and I'm a big fan of his as well. And he's very on point, and he's very articulate with the way he represents things. But I think that basically everybody's theory is just sort of missing a little bit of an element that, like as Pavarotti's theory, as I know it, doesn't address the kind of high up corruption that would cause Megyn Kelly to be threatened on her own show, that kind of thing, and have somebody of the stature of Andrea Burkhart be scared to cover the case, and a bunch of other people. This kind of thing that I guess I'm not the only one that's seeing it. Dago agrees that he's seeing it as well. It's something that people don't want to talk about. I noticed a lot of people don't want to talk about it. yeah, this indicates something big. You know, we're not talking about Aryan Knights, drug deal. We're talking about like it's for Megyn Kelly to be threatened on her own show. It's got to be something big, real big. And I don't know what that is.
Well, that still could play into that, though, Jesse, as we talked about the other day, because there are some very, very important, I'll say this, very important higher up governmental people that are involved within that group as well. So I don't completely discount that, knowing what I know about that and what I've looked into and realizing who could be involved within those organizations, who they're connected to, if you know what I'm saying. So it's still playing that same direction, because there are, as I said the other day, senators, doctors, governors, mayors, attorneys, lawyers, all that have a relationship to this organization. So you have to be able to look at it that way too, in my opinion, to realize that it still could go that way. It is very high up in some senses. The question is why? Go ahead,
Jesse. Just because Pavarotti hasn't come out and stated it as such doesn't mean that he doesn't acknowledge it.
I agree. And when I say that there's holes in his theory, I'm saying that like the players that he mentions, the Mowich and Kopaka and Gill and Slocum and all he might be bang on. But my question is, why and what else does it tie to?
Because it would tie to this is there's institutional corruption. If a prosecutor has a game, then he would need the judge to be on that same team playing the same game, wouldn't he? Right? And if there's documented or provable years of this going on, then that would be reason enough, because if one falls, they're all going to fall, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe one would know, but I've always been of the opinion that when you have this kind of systemic corruption, yes, if one falls, they all fall. But for that very reason, the higher ups will cut loose the lower downs to prevent that from happening. And you can start to cover it up. But if you're actually being threatened, if there's a threat that it's going to uncover too much, you sort of cut the lower end as like fish food or fodder. You like give them the lowerlings to shut them up.
And I want to clarify something real
quick.
Like
who? Payne?
Go ahead.
This is too big for there to be. At what level do they cut it off?
I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I don't have all the answers. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think Payne. I think Payne's too connected. I mean, because if Payne goes down, then the dominoes really start to fall.
This is the reason why I disagreed with you. I wasn't on the panel, but in chat, I think you were on the panel, and you said something about DM and her GoFundMe. And I'm paraphrasing the best I can here, but because of the GoFundMe money, that was further proof for you that she's involved or something. Did I have it close? Am I right?
I was more a statement against her character, that Bethany Funk ran to Nevada and hid out and wanted to remove herself from the situation, whereas Dylan wanted to be more vocal, show up, have the GoFundMe and show up at the hearing and really give Brian a big speech yelling at Brian. And I thought that was distasteful, knowing that I don't believe that she believes that Brian did it, and I don't believe that she's telling the truth about anything. So I find it an indictment on her character.
Okay.
Let me clarify something real quick. And yes, I can do that, Blue Eyed. When I said I've noticed that there's people that stop talking about, I'm not saying I think they're afraid to. Don't take me the wrong way with that. I just noticed that they just said that's it, and when Brian took the plea deal, a lot of them said they cashed it in, said that's it, he's guilty, I'm moving on, and that bothered me because with some of those people, they didn't do it in the Delphi case. Richard Allen did almost the same thing. Well, he didn't do it, but they almost did the same thing. He was accused of it, convicted of it, and they kept going with it. So I'm not saying they were afraid of it. I'm telling you, I noticed that it just seemed to. Now the Megyn Kelly thing is noticeable. If I can find the clip, I will show you. I know we watched it once on here, and I have no problem showing you. It definitely did seem as though the people that were her guests kind of shut her down, and I was like, wow, that's on her own show. That's kind of wild, and it's just based on the conversation they were having. And next thing you know, she was out of it.
She never brought it up again.
Right. She just shut herself down from it. I was like, wow, that's wild. Do you remember when that was, Jesse, and how, like, maybe a title to it? I would definitely show it. I have no problem. We did it once before.
I know that Mark Garagos was on the panel.
Did you send it clip to me in an email? Is that how we got it?
I may have.
Let me go look. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys.
You just Google my name and Megyn Kelly. But yeah, one of the things that I found striking about it was it wasn't her intention to start asking questions. It was like she had an epiphany during the show. Like all of a sudden something clicked in her head and she's like, wait a minute, these bitches are lying, and she had an epiphany, like that story just doesn't make any sense. And as soon as she did that, these male lawyers attacked her and told her to shut up.
Right.
And it was, and the thing is, I was getting really excited because all of a sudden Megyn is seeing what I've been seeing the whole time. And Megyn is the kind of person that could make a big deal. Like if Megyn started talking about this the way we talk about it, shit would happen, in my opinion. Or pressure, the amount of pressure that she could apply to this situation if she talked the way we talk. So that I was super excited, and then she got shut down, and she never talked like that again.
It's like what's her name that really made a big deal with Charlie Kirk? The same type of influence, I believe, that if she were to talk, Candace Owens, I couldn't think of her name. Thank you, but yeah, I believe Megyn has that pull and does have that push with this case, and could get people to think and believe in certain things. Welcome, Chris. And yeah, that's why I saw the same thing, Jesse. I saw the same thing that day, and if I could find it, I'm definitely going to be trying to find it. As I am right now, because it was an interesting point, and it's almost like, was something else said to her, besides what they did there? Did somebody pop into her earpiece and say, okay, you're done with that now, move on, that's enough talking about it, it's causing problems, we need to move on? Because it almost seemed that way. And I can't remember for the life of me how long ago it was. Garagos was there, you're correct. Who was the other guy that was there?
There was another sleazy lawyer, and then a ex-law enforcement guy. I'm not sure if Howard was there.
Idaho College special, Brian Koberger, Megyn Kelly show special. Come on. Oh, wait a minute. What's really happened behind the scenes? Nope, that's David. 2 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. It was only like 6 months ago, right?
No, I think it was longer.
Was it? Okay.
You know when it was? It was when the 911 call transcript. That's when it was. They were reviewing the 911 transcript whenever that came out, which was a long time ago now. So 18 months ago, I think.
It's been a minute. I do remember.
So that's why she had the epiphany. She was reading the 911 transcript, and she was just like, "Wait a minute, these bitches are lying."
Yeah, and she came forward that way, and then at that same point, she backed right out of it. It was interesting. Why does Michael Jackson keep popping up for her? Let me try something. Don't you got Miss Potts is in the house? Good to see you, Miss Potts. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Annie?
Blue eyed, thank you. Thank you. I'm working on it, dear, I promise.
Did you like your Muppet there, Jesse?
I did not see.
Hold on.
Did you make Muppets for everybody? Was it a year ago?
Here's Jesse's Muppet.
Well, the only one I can find so far is her with Howard Blum over the when they reviewed the 911 call. But I know it's in here because I've seen it.
I thought I emailed it to you. I'll check my other email maybe.
I looked in there. I didn't see it, but I thought you had. Jesus. How do you do all that, Kane? That's crazy. I'd be afraid to see what mine looked like. Good Lord.
Hang on.
Disturbing phone searches. Nope, not that one. Not that one. And if you can make, if you make one for me, and I'm accepting of it, I'd like you to send it to me. I'm going to use it as my avatar.
I've got one as Annie in a whole bikini, but I'm not allowed to play it anymore.
I wouldn't do that.
You got me in trouble.
I've seen that. It's quite impressive, I must say, Annie.
Good Lord. You guys are just rude.
She said I was trying to bippity boppity boop her.
That's 2 years ago. If anybody knows what we're talking about and you know which one it is, please send it to me. I'm looking because she has Garagos on all the time. And as far as 911 goes, I almost wonder if they took it down, if she took it down, Jesse.
I mean, I would take it down if I was her. She was embarrassed. I mean, it was her show and they took control of her show.
Yeah.
It was just
Lucy sent it to me. Hold on. Of course Lucy did. Thank you, Lucy. And I think, well, SRB 2. Thank you. Lucy posted it. It's this one. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Lucy. SRB. Oh, you guys are amazing. I love you guys. Yeah, because we have this one idiot on here too. This guy makes me want to vomit sometimes. Hold on. Thank you guys. I love you guys. Truly and honestly, I would not be able to do this without you guys sometimes. You guys know that too. We found it. Okay. And I can't play like a full thing with her because they hit you hard. Especially her show. But yeah, this is the one, Jess. This has this other guy with the dark hair over here. I don't like him either. Yeah. Yes. All right, let's run some of this. And this is, again, let me do this real quick, you guys, for my own protection here. Bear with me. This is for educational purposes and educational purposes alone, so that we can learn what's going on here. Okay.
Last week, including the body cam worn by the officers when they showed up at the King Road house right after they got called. 911 got called by, you recall, it was the friend of the surviving roommate. The surviving roommates were Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen. They called a friend. He came over with his other friend and they discovered the bodies and got the two girls out. And then the cop showed up. Murders, he was walking out of their house and she stops in SOT 33.
What do you remember seeing?
Because she saw some guy and
days upon seeing someone in the house, then kind of went catatonic for 8 hours, then called police. I'm not blaming Dylan Mortensen, to be clear. This poor girl's been through hell, and the encounter happened right after.
As well as you, Megan, none of us are strangers to looking at police body camera video, but this stuff is so compelling because it illustrates the just enormous sadness of the whole case. And for anyone who's been living under a rock until this afternoon, what we now know, of course, is that Brian Kohberger's defense team, they're the ones that made a plea offer to the prosecutor to take the death penalty off.
That's not true, by the way, just so you guys know. That is not true.
Off the table in exchange for a guilty plea. And of course, the prosecutor accepted Kohberger's offer, and that's where we are. No wonder he pled guilty, because he knew that when a jury saw that and some of the other very compelling stuff, they would have the emotional reaction that I know I'm having, and I think most people who have a soul have when they see this kind of thing. And it just illustrates how, just the utter evilness of the case. And I keep going back, and I hate to be the dead horse. I keep going back to why is the death penalty off the table?
But I don't know. Again, I don't blame Dylan Mortensen even one bit for this crime or anything. They were not savable. The 4 victims were not savable. If she had called 911, 5 minutes after, it doesn't seem like they would have been saved. They were so extremely attacked and brutalized. But it is at odds somewhat, Garagos, with what we read in the police affidavit. Like, I can't kind of get past the disparity.
Well, it's a really good point, but it also, I think, clarifies and amplifies something that I've always argued in a different context. There is no playbook. There is no way that you can say people should react. You can have now have clicked that then there who didn't for virtually everybody. I was not thinking that, Megan, but,
okay. But it also applies to him, I think you'd say.
I knew you would default to that.
Okay, wait. I want to show you another clip, and then I'll bring you.
I heard her scream and run like a nice way. He was out the side door. He was the only one that was.
So there's a lot in there, Mark Eiglarsh, including she heard screaming, but she's saying Bethany work inside, and then she saw Xana down post-attack. She said she thought she was passed out, or that she.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is where it comes into play, you guys. This is kind of interesting. So,
it's also disappointing that Garagos is playing along as well.
Yeah, yes,
defense attorney, and he's obviously paid off or whatever.
Right. What do you got going on, Lucy? Kick rocks. What? Kick rocks. I love it. 2-part.
Out of it. I guess I just don't. I still wrestle with how could you hear your roommates screaming and sobbing and see one down, and not.
Now here we go. Here, this idiot here is about to go in. Watch it.
Not call sooner. I'm not blaming. Megan, I just genuinely am searching.
Megan. Okay. So first, I agree with Phil. This would have been a compelling witness if this went to trial, and who knows what would have happened there. But I start the analysis with, this could be my daughter. I have 3 kids. 1 just graduated from college. 2 are in college. So this could be my daughter. And so my daughter could be on Megyn Kelly's show and all these networks, and now being analyzed by all of you, substituting what you think you would have done in that scenario. And you're well-intended, but I sure know if this is my daughter, or this girl in particular, she's well-intended. And she did the best she could at.
Now, I'm going to stop here before it gets dark, okay? We're going to watch the whole thing. But I'm going to tell you, this fool, this idiot, and I'm going to call it what it is, because that's what he is. This could be anybody's daughter, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, fuck you, dude, because my kids wouldn't do this. My daughters wouldn't do this, okay? Because they have common sense and they have souls. There's the difference. Now, I'd like to hear your response to this shit now with what we've learned now as compared to then. He's a piece of work, folks, and this dude is a loser. I'm sorry.
As an attorney, he should be well aware that every guilty party and every suspect in every case is somebody's daughter and somebody's son. What all the things he's saying are an emotional a fallacy, a plea to emotion, or whatever. It's a logical fallacy. It doesn't. It's just words. It doesn't make any sense.
No, and he has no fucking idea whether she was well intended or not. None. And excuse my language. This pisses me off. The way this went down, I was pissed off. Then this guy makes me sick. He's a defense attorney, from my understanding as well. So his mental capacity should be, to be able to look at things with a brighter spectrum. But no, He doesn't.
Her level of awareness at that moment. And just like Garrigo said, there's no typical way to act. It's really problematic as a defense lawyer, as a father, as a human being, to continue to hear people say, well, they should have done this, they could have done this, without ever really hearing what they were going through and or ever being in that particular abhorrent scenario, the worst moment of your life, being questioned by law enforcement. I praise her for having the courage to answer the questions, to help out with this investigation, and nothing that she did was nefarious in any way.
But
Well,
what
no
about
one suggested it was. Scott Peterson's nefarious. No one's suggesting it's nefarious. So and you can save your umbrage and outrage. No one's suggesting it is.
Amen.
There's a very odd situation here where she was way more upset and she heard a lot more than the police had revealed to us in that affidavit. She was much more aware that there was danger in the house than we've ever been told before.
So what do you think it was, Megan?
So it's a fair question to say, why is that? Why didn't the cops reveal more of that? Why did they try to keep that out of the public eye? And I'll tell you what that has done. This is not a Megyn Kelly theory, nor do I subscribe to it. But you take 30 seconds and Google her name online, you've got half the internet thinking she knew more, that she wasn't in on it, but that she knew more about it than was previously revealed. I don't believe that. But I do think it's odd that the cops did not disclose any of that to us. And now we learn when the case is all over that she heard.
9 months ago, this was released. 9 months ago. And at this point now, how much more do we know than we even knew then? Okay? So much more. And so much more has been proven that she lied about. So, no, bullshit. This dude is a douche. Excuse me. Complete douchebag.
Screaming and sobbing and ran for it and all that. Go ahead, Phil.
Police reports are usually, I mean, I've never seen one in my entire career that had everything that should have been in there. And on the other hand, when I put my former police officer hat on, sometimes I don't want to put things in a written narrative that I know is going to be part of the larger case file because
I'll tell you why they didn't put it in
give
there.
that to the public.
I accept that, but I think they didn't put it in there because it doesn't make Dylan look very good. Because they knew that people would say, she heard screaming, she heard sobbing.
Exactly.
And she saw Xana Kernodle down on the floor. She was scared enough, and then she laid eyes on an intruder. She was scared enough to run to the other roommate's room, and they still didn't call 911 for 8 hours. It's odd. We are allowed to ask questions about how that could happen. It doesn't mean, I'm certainly not saying she had anything to do with it. It's a very odd thing that's just been revealed about this case, and we've been covering this case closely, so I make no apologies for discussing it. What will the effect of the sparring between
what happened there?
Thank you. Where'd that go?
Yeah, that's not it. That's
it jumped from that to that. Look. It goes from there to there to there.
There's a lot more to it.
There's
a lot more to it than that.
They cut it.
Wow. Yeah, they had to cut their censorship out. Holy cowsers.
There it is, folks. Oh my God. Anyway, there it is, folks. And it's absolute. Like, this is her show.
I believe that guy Eiglish told her, be careful, Megan. And the way I remember it is because you could see she was fiery and she was fighting back. Yes. By the end of it, she was not fiery and she was not. No. She was intimidated and she shut up in a hurry.
He shut it down. I'm telling you, they were in her earpiece saying, no more. You're done. Yeah. Shut it off. This is not good. And that's a damn shame, you guys. That is a damn shame. This is a reporter or whatever you call her. I don't know what the hell you would explain. A talk show host that is out here noticing that there's something wrong at this point and speaks on it, and she's shut down immediately by that idiotic defense attorney that should have a more of an open mind, being a defense attorney, to see the facts that are facts, okay? Or are you kissing somebody's ass there, sir? I don't even know what his damn name is. I don't want to know his name. I don't remember it, but it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's not allowing
me to look for Garagos as well.
It is. He was having a blast with it. He was laughing, if you noticed him, which I'm not a big fan of Garagos to begin with. You know, I've never had severe problems with him, but that is another reason why I've lost respect. Gabriella, I keep trying to bring you up, dear, and it keeps saying microphone and audio not connected. It won't allow me, dear. I'm sorry. So at that point, any thoughts on that? Any of you guys at all? Besides Jesse, we know Jesse's
I'd like
point.
to hear that second part. We don't have a copy of that, huh?
No, it's cut right here. Look, I'll show you where they cut it too. It's interesting because it was on there before.
It's
It
almost
was
like
there
she's doing a
before.
retraction at the end there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and again, let me move this out of your guys' face. I'm sorry about that. That's wild, Jesse, because we watched the whole thing the last time. Okay. So it goes through that portion there where all this happens, and Ding Dong 1 and Ding Dong 2 make their comments, and then Ding Dong 3 make his comment. Okay. And then it's literally right after that point is done, it gets to this point here.
Love it.
Okay. And yeah, it cuts it right off. It's completely gone. There was a whole other piece that was connected to that. It's gone.
Well, I mean, it wasn't her finest hour getting attacked and basically shut down on her own show. So
shame on them.
I could see why she would want it removed.
I'm sure the producers did it themselves because it looked bad for her. But regardless, it should have never happened on her own show like that. And I like that she barked back at him and told him to save his bullshit and his whininess.
But in the full clip, they shut her down to the point where she was no longer barking back.
Yeah, they completely did, which is why they took it out, because it does make her look bad. I agree. And that's a damn shame. This is where we're at with this, you guys. This is what's been happening. Eddie fell out the window.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If this can happen to Megyn Kelly, it can happen to, it sure as shit can happen to Andrea and creators in this space that have stopped covering it or changed their tune.
They could have just backed away from covering it because they don't want to go through things like that. I've never said they're afraid to. It's in a live. Oh, okay. That'd be nice to know, SRB. Thank you, dear.
To take kind of one's approach to it would be
I'll be right back. Gotta run back.
They've literally threatened defense experts, the DNA guy lady, and it's funny that you have people that have visited this case vehemently, very strongly, like when you talk about Candace Owens and stuff like that did a one-off, proclaimed they were going to look into it more and never coming back. And when you see something like this with Megyn Kelly, with her literally getting her lops cut off on air, it's disturbing, and then they go back and just like with the 2 years of frat history on the internets, they've scrubbed it, and it's like, okay, how right can Lucy be? The other day she's like, watch, it'll be matters of national security, and bing bong, that's the next.
Well, I think it may well be. I actually believe that the level of cover up we're witnessing is, and I don't mean that I think that the national security is dependent, but I believe that the kind of players involved are high up enough that I think it may well be, just because I just don't think with this much pressure and with this much attention to the case and this much bullshit out there, I don't think that happens for Gill and Slocum and Mowich and Kopaka, or even corrupt cops that are coordinating with them to sell drugs or whatever. I think that there's got to be somebody involved that's very high up. Maybe
well, the thing is you got to take into account who could they work for, Jesse. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to cut them out of the picture at this point until I have good reason to believe.
Again, I'm not cutting them.
No, I know what you mean. Right. I'm just saying who do they work for? Right. Yeah, I believe that there's a connection that is very high up. I'm right there with you.
Lucy says she might have the clip. She's going to look. Give me 1.5 minutes here.
Thanks, Lucy.
To connect the timeline for you. 2018, Scott Green moves from New York, its high-powered position over there at Hug and Lowe's, to the University of Idaho. Takes a position for $400,000 a year. Within months, you have the Moonstone Bank goes from a small farmer's bank with $10 million in deposits to hundreds of millions in deposits from cotton candy, the smokable kind, to all kinds of money laundering situations. All right. Fast forward now, you have the $23 million plus Hogan Lovells, embezzlement by Scott Green with the University of Arizona. Fast forward, now you've got University of Idaho, ROTC program is going to be cut. Green contacts Reich in the state legislature. Reich contacts Hegseth. Hegseth contacts Trump. The ROTC is restored. They get a brand new building. It's not going to be moved to WSU. Fast forward, now you've got the Idaho Falls, and this one's for Eddie actually specifically. You've got the Idaho Falls now without any knowledge to anyone in the legislature, Governor Little's, anyone else. They implement a Kuwait training ground camp that's going to start in 2027, I believe. That's going to go indefinitely training camp for Kuwait without anybody's knowledge or approval, which, okay, it's federal at Idaho Falls. And that was just, it was like a 1, 2, 3 step. Once you get Hegseth involved, Hegseth goes ahead, dedicates the land at Idaho Falls to the Kuwait training grounds. Any thoughts on that, Ed?
That's an awful lot, Kane, but I'll do my best. I will say that there's another high-profile case from September 10th of last year in Utah, which isn't far away. There is some similarities. There's some of the same players. They've brought in some of the same experts for that case. We're seeing the defense and the prosecution use some of the same tactics, and there's some parallels to be drawn. And I have to wonder if there's any connections between the two cases.
I will say, I will throw into this too. There's JJ. I knew he'd pop in here. You repeated word for word what he has said in the past. He said spot on. Good stuff. But I have to jump into, I'm going to jump into, if you're going to go that direction real quick, the only thing I'm going to point out, one of the most important things is the purchase, the ongoing purchase of the University of Phoenix. Okay. Now I know that has something to do with this. I absolutely in my heart feel that had something to do with this because of the money. Okay. And Sarge and I talked about this over, I think it was on Crimes After Dark one night. We were all talking about it. And I think that is, if you think about, for as far as the cover-up goes, okay? It made me jump to that, so I'm sorry. But think about just this right here. The amount of money that's needed to make the purchase go through for the University of Phoenix, okay, is a lot. Quite a lot, if you look back to what it was. Now, with this happening, and as I said, I believe there were phone calls possibly made before any of the police were called or any of that, okay? And at that point, I have to say, when you think about what you're in the midst of working on, all the money you're going to need, and you find out 4 people are murdered on your campus, holy shit, I'm going to lose an ass load of money on this if we let this get out like this.
Oh, more than that.
And I can't let this happen. I can't let this happen. Enrollment's going to drop. All the money's going to fall out. We're going to lose this. I can't lose this. And he wanted it for more than one reason. I'll tell you that too. I'm not going to get into that because it goes political, but he wanted it for more than one reason, in my opinion. I believe that plays a big part in this, folks. That's why this cover-up, in my opinion, was partially there, okay? And the people that were involved is the other side to it. Okay, I believe there's no way there could have been a connection given between the university and the people that were involved in this. Another reason, in my opinion. But the money loss, in my opinion, is huge, and would have been a big, big problem. A big problem. And that's been my opinion on this for a while now. How the university ties into this and why. Okay. And that's what I think. And people can call me, say I'm wrong, I'm dumb, I'm whatever. It's okay. It's just an opinion, folks. I absolutely feel that there's a definite parallel right there. So I wanted to throw that on to the end of that. Thank you.
Let me throw Jason Jensen into the mix, and we're gonna pick through the brush here at the Human Being. I have a clip for you, Double Dags, that after Scott Green was caught in this corruption, he originally said, Jage, I need you on this one. It was $7 million that was funneled to his former employer at Hogan Lovells in New York. It turned out that he was lying, and it was well over 23 million.
Right.
Here was his reaction. If you'd like to play just the beginning here, probably first it skips, but play the second part, about 40 seconds of Scott Green's response to being caught smuggling money to Hogan Lovells. Check this out.
Did you throw it backstage?
Yes, sir.
All right. And by the way, the University of Phoenix thing was terminated at some. It's not still ongoing, but at that point it was.
It's over now. Yeah, he was busted big time.
Is there a dog?
Zero repercussions.
Is that it right there? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
They couldn't substantiate a lot of the accusations being made. It was a bit of a relief, but it was also a bit disappointing because you realize that
it's low audio.
Can you turn it up?
I can't.
The fact that they couldn't substantiate a lot of the accusations being made, it was a bit of a relief, but it was also a bit disappointing because you realize that this was more political than it was real, and that this was a false narrative. I think Idaho citizens deserve better, and my guess is they're not going to forget about this for a long time.
Are you worried about these discussions this year when it comes to the budget?
I'm always worried, but my sense is that that legislators are growing tired here of all the infighting and the accusations, and particularly if they're false. I don't think legislators purposely take positions that they know are false. I think they're being fed information, and they should be angry at this point, too.
The Hawley-Troxell report also included instances where the IFF report cherry-picked program descriptions. They left out parts of them.
You like the way he holds his hand like he's the Godfather, Dave?
Where the IFF report cherry-picked program descriptions. They left out parts of them, took them out of context to build the narrative they were trying to push. If the Hawley-Troxell name sounds familiar, it's because they are the same firm Boise State hired last spring after they were accused of indoctrination within their university foundations courses. An investigation that also turned up nothing.
When you investigate yourself, you're going to turn up nothing 9 times out of 9. You know what I'm saying?
Well, of course, yeah. Is that it?
That was it, yeah. I have the whole interview somewhere. This is the only one, unfortunately, I've been able to find. I was playing it on the show last night.
It's definitely an interesting point. Very much so. Very interesting. And like I said, Scott Green was involved in the entire investigation, per se. Was constantly being updated about this and that. He was going to meetings, again, I think, in my opinion, he was worried about the money he was going to lose because of enrollment drops, because of what happened. If we put it out there that this is how it happened.
Definitely one of the factors. But if you look at the bigger picture now, Scott Green has a position that's equal to at least of a cabinet member, because he is now the chief of security of Idaho National Labs. And that is the company that is tasked with doing the cybersecurity for the entire nuclear and energy grid for the United States. They are training the people to be the cybersecurity, and they are also providing workers directly to INL. And it is, immeasurable of a position. For him to have lost that, it was between him and Boise, of course, State, which would have gotten the contract. Had this scandal gone to the left in any way, just like as if the timeline was off by 20 seconds, BK didn't do it. If his reputation had gone left in any way, he would not have gotten that position, secured that contract. Makes you think.
Interesting. Definitely interesting. Welcome back, Eddie.
Sure.
So, anyway, all of this stuff is very important to this, in my opinion, but, again, moving forward if we can. I don't trust anybody within this case. Anybody whose name has been mentioned, I don't have any trust there. Because of how things have played out. And we didn't get much into it, but with everything that has recently come forward, it's just pointing more towards a justification of the things we've already believed, in my opinion. I have to say that's how I feel, at least, and I think most of the rest of us do. There's nothing here that's making me look back on it and say, "Nah, I was wrong about that. No, I was wrong about this. Oh, Jesse wasn't right. Kane was wrong. Eddie was wrong. 1-1 wasn't right. None of us, Logan wasn't right." I can't look back and say that on anything because the more that's released, the more it points to. If you look at all the interviews we just did with Dylan the other day, when Kim so graciously and Tomboy very graciously joined me to read through these. What in the actual hell?
Insane, dude. Insane.
Is what well, that's my question. How did any law enforcement officer let me ask this, let me say it like this. Even if they're on board the train, okay? How do you get through this interview and not say, what the fuck is wrong with you? And why did you not call 911? But in fact, they did. They did make some statements, okay? If you remember that. I think it was Blaker and Gooch that said, "Are you taking any current medications for any kind of trauma you've been through? Are you seeing a therapist?" I mean, they were like, "The fuck is wrong with this girl?" Okay, truly and honestly, that's how I imagined it.
Remember, I suggested that they might have had to done multiple takes because they might have had to stop in the middle of the interview and say, "We got to start it over," because nobody's going to believe that.
That's what we had to do. We were in the midst of reading it, Jesse. Tomboy and I both start fucking laughing like, what? Well, she's talking about standing inside the glass wall, and I was outside the glass wall for 15 or 30 minutes and then back. What are you talking about? And
I mean, I go back to the original story that we called the police because our friend passed out, and then you go into the house and you see an absolute slaughterhouse. It just, of course, the story is not going to make sense because it was never, there's no way to ever make sense of that. And anybody who believed that which seems like there's an awful lot of people that were sold that as a plausible story. It was never plausible. It was always going to be what it was when the documents came out because there's no plausible explanation for that.
Right.
Good.
Come on up.
Jakes, can I kind of try to, I know you'll be wrapping up pretty soon, but I want to wrap this up in a neat little bow. And I really wanted to hear Eddie's opinion on it. Go ahead. One second.
Annie, there's a link pinned, dear. If you want to join us, I would love to hear from you. You're welcome to join us. Great. And yes, of course, you can. 1 second, though, real quick. I want to speak on what Annie just said here because I absolutely, fully, 100,000% believe this, and I'll tell you real quick why. How many people here think the Spokane ME, Dr. Singh, doctored the autopsy videos and photos to give to the defense? Me, and I'm going to tell you why, and I complained about this already. Does anybody remember how many law enforcement officers were at the autopsies?
3, right?
3 or 4, something in that boat. One of them is on the Brady list, okay, that was there. I don't trust him right out of the gate, but I'm just saying, why are they all there? It's almost like they were standing guard over the autopsy to make sure something was done a certain type of way, and I can't prove that. I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm telling you that's a belief I have based on what I saw and what I understand. So, Annie, yes, I 1,001,001% believe there was doctoring done. I'll just say that to answer your question. Go ahead, Kane. Finish up.
Okay. Eddie, how you doing, buddy, today? I haven't talked to you in a while, man.
Welcome back, Eddie.
I'm doing well, Kane. I'll try to answer your question the best I can, depending on what it is. Sometimes I need to think it over and really understand it.
Just your best off the cuff answer be fine for now. But timing seems to be very important, is my point in this case. With Scott Green leaving Hogan Lovells as the CFO, a multi-billion-dollar company, law firm, coming in 2018 to University of Idaho to take over the position as chief executive money launderer, and with the sudden 70 million, 100 million $200 million deposits into Moonstone Bank, which were later confiscated by the Fed and by the FBI, shutting Moonstone Bank and FTX down. FTX being Sam Bankman-Fried's company of crypto, was the largest crypto crash, one of the largest financial disasters in our nation's history, right? Okay, so you have the FTX crash, the crypto crash scandal happening on November 11th, 2022. Okay. And then you have the victim's father coming out with the hat and all these types of things. I'm just saying, as far as timing goes, it's a very mind-blowing coincidence. As far as this happens this day, November 13th, you have the tragedy. Is that making sense so far to you? And you heard what I said before, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So what are your opinions on it? I did throw a lot out there in an airplane wing, but see what you can dice up on it.
Yeah, I see your point, and the timing is possibly, something you can put a finger on. But beyond that, I don't have a lot of thoughts at this time.
Hi, Annie.
Hi.
How are you, darling?
How's everybody doing?
We'll try not to laugh your ribs out of here today.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we'll hear you.
Yes, and thank you as
Good to see
always
you.
for joining us, Annie. I've missed you. I always love listening to you and having you join us. So thank you for being here, dear.
Well, I should be honest with you, Dago. I was kind of trolling you.
Oh, well, okay then. I guess I'll leave. You guys have a good show.
No, you know I love you. I love you so much. I knew you were going to say that you do. I love you so much.
Get out of here.
I always appreciate you. Always have. Always will.
Listen, I would say that I could go with that if we were, back in like the 1950s, where nothing is recorded. But the Spokane Medical Examiner, they record all of the autopsies via high definition video and audio.
Okay.
So, and all of that was given to the defense. So I don't believe that Veena Singh is going to jeopardize her entire career as the medical examiner to fudge or, you know what I mean?
No, I'm okay with being wrong. You know me. I feel like some of the things were.
Well, it's not about wrong or right. It's about the fact that people spent so long claiming that these victims were missing body parts, that Ethan showed up in multiple body bags, that one of the girls was pregnant. All of this stuff that people have spread for the last 3.5 years.
Ridiculous.
And none of it is true.
Right.
Literally none of it. Everyone had their parts. All of their organs were weighed. Brain, heart, liver, kidneys, all of it. Gallbladder. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, nobody was missing anything.
Yeah, I never believed any of that stuff. I stayed away from that as far as I could. Now, I guess I thought what your question was meaning more along the lines of was, do you believe that she could be swayed by people involved in the investigation to do certain things? That's kind of how I felt. But I see what you're asking.
She could, maybe her testimony could be swayed. Maybe the state could get her right. But as far as the actual autopsy videos go, you're going to have a hard time tampering with those, and the defense isn't going to pick up on it. And if the defense believed that the autopsy videos and photographs were tampered with, pretty sure we would have seen a motion to suppress that evidence.
Very good point.
And we didn't.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. Thank you for saying that too. That way people understand, because you're right. 3 years we've listened to people say there was intestines hanging from the ceiling fan. There's not even a fan in the house. There were body parts that were stolen, things cut off and left laying here, and this and that. So, and it's all been bullshit. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, and we know that, like a medical examiner, we've seen what happened in Karen Reed.
Yes.
We know that medical examiners can be persuaded by the state, and they almost always represent the state when they're coming into court. but that has nothing to do with the actual videos of the autopsies. If the defense believed that they got tampered with videos of autopsies and tampered with photographs, we would have seen a motion to suppress that evidence. And there wasn't one. There was never a motion to suppress the autopsy findings, ever.
Right. And that is a very good point. So, you know, I guess I can say that, no, I can change my answer based on understanding more of what you were asking, especially videos and stuff like that. I can agree with you for sure. All of it. I just, like
I was just busting your balls.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Got to keep me on my toes somehow.
I missed you. I haven't talked to you, I haven't talked to you in a while. I haven't seen everybody in a while, so I said, well, let me go bust some balls real quick for a minute.
I'm glad. I heard that you got everything back in order here on YouTube. Everything's good with you now. Is that correct?
Yeah, they fixed it all.
Good. I'm glad. I was sorry.
But I got some good information I'm sitting on about who was behind that. One day I'm going to read through all of it for everybody so they can all see who the real fucking assholes are on this platform.
Good. I'm looking forward to it, dear. Truly am. I've always supported you. I always will. Nothing but absolute respect for you. You know that. So,
yeah, there's some shiesty people up on here. They'll smile right in your face while they stab you in the back. 100%.
Oh, it's happened to me. I don't know if you were around. I went through it many times, Annie. 4 times for sure. I had to basically restart. So I get it fully and honestly, and I'm sorry you had to go through it, dear. You don't deserve it.
Nah, it's fine. I don't, you know me. I don't care. I have other jobs and stuff.
Of course.
I think that was the intention, right? I think it was intended to be that like it would somehow fuck me up financially, and actually it helped me. It actually helped me.
Good.
I love that. Yes.
I am glad to hear that. I'm glad you're still going. You're here. I'm glad you're still here. Again, you've been very helpful throughout this entire thing, and you're part of our family here as well. So we appreciate you very much.
Well, I love you to death.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you very, very much for that.
Does Miss Potts have a take on Holland, Turvey, and Whitcomb?
Say that beginning part. I think it cut off.
Sorry. Yeah. What did you say, Jesse?
Have you watched the Holland interview that the custody queens did?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jesse just asked you.
That's what Jesse's asking.
Yeah, do you have an opinion on the interviews with Holland and Chris Whitcomb and Brent Turvey? Do you see a gap between the documents that have recently been released and what those guys were putting out there?
Well, I mean, Holland and Whitcomb are spooks, so I take everything they say with a grain of salt. But Turvey is, he's the only one who actually makes any sense out of all of them. So, but because Turvey doesn't give a fuck about your opinions or your intuition or your gut feeling. He only cares about what the evidence says. That's it.
But even Turvey's, what he was representing, it doesn't seem to exactly line up with the recent document drops. For me personally, I'm a little bit just disappointed with, okay, well, if you guys had access to all this information that we're now seeing, and you came out and you represented what you represented, but you left out X, Y, and Z. Why did you leave out X, Y, and Z?
What did he leave out?
Good question.
Turvey was brought on specifically for crime scene reconstruction, and that is the only evidence he was allowed access to.
Well, I guess with Turvey in particular, he still was pushing the 4 a.m. timeline and not willing to deviate from that. Like, he doesn't want to explore any alternate timelines.
That's not his job. That's not his job. That's Cy's job.
Well, I guess that answers that question.
Yeah, Turvey wasn't brought on to establish a timeline or anything like that. Turvey was brought on to examine the forensic and physical evidence. And once he examined it, that's when he gave his opinion, and they brought him on to do a full, complete crime scene reconstruction, which is what he did. His reconstruction has nothing to do with the timeline. It has everything to do with the forensic evidence and what it shows. And he was very clear about what that forensic evidence shows. In his opinion, multiple perpetrators, multiple weapons, and a cleanup and staging.
Yeah, I guess some of the interviews he did, he sort of went and offered additional opinions outside of what was in his reports that were more speculating on timelines and theories. And
yeah. I mean, I applaud him. I actually applaud him for saying, I'm not here to, talk about my opinions or my gut feeling or my intuition or anything like that. He's literally just going by what the forensic evidence showed him. And that's all you want him to do. I don't want him giving me his fucking gut feeling or his intuition on it. I want him to tell me exactly what the blood spatter dictates to him, exactly what the forensic evidence dictated to him. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can take this guy's record and what he does. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can't besmirch what he does. Like, nobody can do what he does. That's why he's the one who does it.
That's a good point.
Know what I mean?
It is a good point. Yes, ma'am. I get it.
Like, this guy, this guy worked for, he works for like the Dubai police and shit. You know what I mean? He isn't just like an American crime scene forensic investigator. This guy works with the UAE. He works with multiple governments across the globe, especially in cases of femicide. Like, that's a lot of what he does is cases of femicide, which is very interesting considering we have 3 females that were murdered in this case.
So, with everything that's been released recently, Annie, because you're right, we haven't talked in a long time. What is your biggest issue with everything we've received most recently, I should say? I mean, we've talked about many things over the past 4 years, but recently, with all the new docs and the autopsy, any of it, what is your biggest issue with everything we've received recently, I should say?
My biggest issue is always going to be the diluted blood that only belongs to 2 of the victims all over the living room, even though they claim it was the perpetrator cleaning. We don't have the last 2 victims' blood anywhere outside their room, so that's interesting.
Yes,
except for Ethan's. Ethan's blood is undiluted, smack in the middle of all of the diluted blood, so that's interesting.
It is. Very good point. Very good point.
And the other thing that I thought was pretty interesting too was like, they're claiming that like Maddie's clothes were wet, and the medical examiner is documenting that her clothes were damp. And a lot of people said, yeah, it's urine. People, oh yeah, it's urine. That's what happens when people die. Their bodies expel stuff. Like, I don't fucking know that. Talking to me like I'm a fucking 2-year-old. And the problem is that so only Maddie expelled urine? None of the other decedents did? That's the problem I have with it.
Yes. Every one of them did.
She's the only one who showed up to the medical examiner's office 3 days later, still damp.
That's interesting.
Nobody else is.
It is interesting.
Nobody else's clothes were damp. Kaylee's clothes weren't damp. Ethan's socks weren't damp. Xana's thong wasn't damp.
So is it that it's been recorded that was what it was, or is it that they didn't put out there? They only put that out for Maddie, is what you're saying? They didn't put it out for anybody else, is why it bothers you?
Well, I mean, as I read through the medical examiner findings for each victim, Maddie's the only one whose clothes were noted as being damp,
right,
wet.
It's curious as to why nobody else's were. That's a good point. Very good point.
Like, if all of them had, damp clothes, because obviously that's what happens when you die, you expel things, that would be one thing. The problem I have with it is the medical examiner is only documenting it for one of the victims, not the others. And I also think it's super interesting too that, like, for 2 of the victims, she attributes the wound patterns to single and or double edge and or serrated. So it's like she's been convinced to make excuses for all of these different wound patterns and attribute them to one singular knife, even though she knows she's looking at these wound patterns, and she's like, well, some of these look serrated.
Yeah. Yes. Very much so.
What about the timeline with Ethan and Xana? It's starting to sound like a lot of people believe that they were back at the house a lot earlier than they were originally supposed to be, and it makes sense because they've always been pretty evasive about answering where and when Ethan and Xana came home.
We still don't know when they came home.
Nope. Sure don't. Why do you think that is, too? Do you have any, that's another topic that I have a big issue with. Do you have any reason or thoughts as to why we're not allowed to know that, possibly? Just personal?
I mean, I do, but I probably shouldn't say it.
Okay.
Never stop.
I get it. All right, Tomboy.
Nobody would like what I think about that, so I keep it to myself.
Understood. That is your right, ma'am. Absolutely. I have issues with it too. I have thoughts about it too. And I've even thought, and people have been angry with me, that there was it's a newer thought that has been brought to the table. There was an involvement with them, possibly. One of them, if not both of them. And I get it, why people don't want to talk about it, because they're victims. I understand. But again, guys.
Well, like Dr. Turby said, when he created this third new method for doing behavioral evidence analysis, right? So, when he created this, he is of the belief that you have to profile the victims as much as you do the suspect. And a lot of people don't like that. Because that's how you're going to look at something objectively. Sometimes victims aren't always victims. Sometimes what they were doing prior to their death is what caused their death.
Thank you for saying that. I've been saying that recently too, and that's what I've tried to say. I've tried to say with all respect, and I say it with all due respect. But sometimes, and again, guys, I'm not victim shaming at any basis. I don't want anybody to ever think that. Okay. This is true crime, okay? This is true crime. We sit here and talk about how we want truth day after day after day after day, every day, okay? You have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at the entire portrait. You can't just look at the corner over here and avoid the smudged side that you don't want to talk about because you would be classified as victim shaming. There's things that not everybody's innocent, okay? I've been saying that. Like, we don't know what was going on. And I said, I'd love to know. I'd love to see their victims' phones for the week before this, okay? Just to see what the text message is between them. Hello, little one. She's pretty. So pretty. Hello. And I would love to understand what was going on for that entire week before, to know what they were involved with, what they were doing, who they were, associating with, all of that at that point is what I'm trying to say. The point is they're not all innocent. They're all victims, okay? But there's things that they could have been involved with and been doing. Bingo, dog kisses. The truth is not always pretty. That's exactly how I'm trying to explain it, guys. We don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, and I'm not, and believe me, I'm not trying to say that like, oh, one of them did this or whatever. It's not even anything like that. I'm just saying if they had conducted a proper investigation from the beginning, conducted proper victimology, looked into these victims, what they were doing leading up to, not even a week. We're talking you should be going back like 3 to 4 months minimum.
That's a good
If you want to have a good idea of a pattern of life for each victim, you want to go back at least like 90 to 120 days. If not more.
Right.
So you can have a really good idea of who they were interacting with, when, where they were going, things like that. But none of that was done here. So,
I
it's very interesting.
Fully agree with you. And that's something that's important to this, folks. And I just said a week, but she's right, guys. You need to look into what they were doing for the past, I'll be honest with you, for the past year on campus. What was going on? Who were they associated with?
Part of it.
That is
part of when you do victimology. That's part of when you do victimology.
Yes, ma'am. Very much so. Very much so. Sorry, Kane. I hit the wrong button and you disappeared, buddy. I didn't do it on purpose. I promise.
No worries, bro. No worries.
But yeah, Annie, that's 100% correct. Victimology, you have to look into every aspect of what was going on in their lives, all of them. Okay, because every bit of that could have, even one little thing. I've said this before many times, could have everything to do with the entire investigation from one of them. But they didn't do any of that. They did none of that. Okay.
I mean, I got to tell you, my biggest thing right now is where's all his crypto? That's where my brain is stuck. Where is it? Yes. Where's all his crypto?
That's an interesting question. Yes.
Where is all of Brian's crypto? I wonder.
That's a really interesting point. What are your thoughts behind that, if I can ask you? If you want, you can always say I don't want to talk about it.
Look, I just find it really interesting that, his dad is trying to make him friends with the next door neighbor there. He gets invited to this pool party out in Moscow within a week and a half of being out there. And then, bippity boppity boo. Next thing you know, he's getting, hemmed up on this and all of his crypto is apparently missing. And he's making sure he lets Payne and Gilbertson know, I don't care about the money. It's not about the money. That's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting. And he thinks Payne looks familiar and it isn't about the money. Interesting.
Thank you for saying you look familiar to me. Thank you. Interesting. Yeah. A lot of people have walked away from that comment many, many times and just blew it off. But I think it's way more important than people believe.
Well, that's what I mean. You got Steve complaining he's got $40,000 on his books.
Right.
That can't be touched because it's being used for legal defense if he needs it and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but where's his crypto? Where is it?
Great question, dear. Very good question.
Can I jump in real quick? I want to compliment before I criticize that when in this particular case, going back in the timeline hours, I think would have made a huge impact on the outcome of this case. I think that something happened literally, built up maybe within the previous prior weeks to the crime itself. And then you look at Dylan's billboard advertisement on her corkboard there, and in my opinion, you can see exactly who she is. And I think Annie agrees that it's almost as if those pictures were carried out on the crime with the double tap with the wounds.
I don't agree with that, Kane, but feel free to keep attributing that to me, even though I don't agree with that.
We talked about that. I thought we agreed on that one. I'm sorry.
Double tap. Are you talking about that gun thing?
No, I'm talking about the pictures she drew that I have a short of Miss Potts saying, Dylan, the pictures with the double tap on her throats that were hanging on the billboard. Right?
Oh, the knife. Okay. You said double tap.
I must have been on my meds. I must have been on my meds when I said that, Kane. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I got to Annie. The thing about, I'll address this first. With the coroner and with the medical examiner, we have seen a history in the state of Idaho where they literally had to legislate and pass a law to clean up the actions and to regulate the actions of the coroner's report. And thanks to Jen at Criminal Confidential, we have cases where they declared it a self-unaliving, and the woman had been pew-pewed 3 times, and her remains were found in 6 different garbage bags on the side of the road. But that was a self-unaliving. Things of this nature, that case, and many more have brought.
Well, now listen, if it was Kathy Mabbitt, if it was actually the coroner who did the autopsies and stuff like that, I could probably agree with you that this is shady as fuck. But it wasn't Kathy Mabbitt. She's just the coroner. All she did was hold the bodies until they went to the medical examiner. You know what I mean? It's not like she performed the autopsies or anything.
To Kathy Mabbitt by any means. I'm talking about corruption that's systemic throughout the entire state of Idaho with these medical examinations and the finding. It's more about the findings that they're coming up with that seem to be of a misdirection. So let me just refer to the 1112 cam, where we know that footage has been tampered with. To begin with, we know that they blurred out the license plates, right? So there has been some interaction prior to us, at least, and from what it looks like, the defense maybe receiving that footage, okay? And then you throw in stuff like the shadow beast to the left of the stairs on 1112 balcony. You have the solar eclipse that's happening with the car that goes back and forth, and you can't make out what model of the car. So I can't say, I have not seen the medical examiner's video to prove that all the officers that, ironically, very strange that 3 law enforcement officers were there present during the autopsy. That's
why is that strange? They attend autopsies all the time for evidentiary purposes. It's not strange. The lead detectives and crime scene people are usually there for the autopsies. It's not like they're standing in the room while they're being done.
That's what I was asking
They're standing behind the glass watching it happen, and they can listen audibly in real time as the medical examiner is conducting the autopsy. It's being video recorded and audibly. It's not like Payne was standing next to the bodies while this is going on. That's not how it went.
No. I questioned myself. I questioned the fact that there was multiple officers there. And I looked in, just, you Google things, and it could be wrong. I asked my buddy who is a police officer. He said he doesn't know because he doesn't get into that aspect of things. He said he's never heard of it. He goes, but if there is a murder case, there is usually the lead detective on the case. A
homicide detective is going to be there. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But multiple, there was 3-4 police officers there is what I was questioning.
I think it was Payne. It was Payne and Blaker, and then Gilbertson from ISP. And Tolson and the other guy there, Talbot.
Right. Talbot. That's what I questioned was why so many is what I was questioning. I know that at least the lead detective should be there, of course, to get questions, so on and so forth.
Because you had Talbot, because Talbot was the lead crime scene investigator for ISP. Blaker and Payne are the lead crime scene detectives for the actual homicide.
MPD, right?
For MPD, right? So you're going to have them. You're going to want them there. I mean, I hate to say it, but that is something they actually did right. That's something they actually did correctly.
Got you. And again, this is why I was asking that question multiple times, because I never understood, and I do now. I didn't. You learn every day, is all I'm saying.
Diggs.
I mean, listen, I get it.
For me, just 1 second, Andy. Let me know if you remember this.
Probably. Did you fucking just interrupt me, Kane?
I may have. I don't know. Sorry.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. Play your video.
I'm interrupting you with yourself, though. It's okay.
Don't do that.
If you'll play this clip, Diggs, see if she remembers this at all. If you don't mind. Let's take. I don't want to chase you away with your ribs again, Annie. Damn it.
No,
what he's trying to
away. I will come to Florida for you. Chase her away.
What's the clip from?
This is from the last show you did before you took a little time off. It's
okay.
It's what I would call good.
I mean, roll the tape, bro.
Got it.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. And after the fact, if you don't mind, Annie, could you elaborate on the crypto stuff? Because I see a lot of people in chat asking. I don't know very much about that.
I have no problem giving the brain worms on the crypto. I'll hit that shit all day.
Thank you, dear. Appreciate that.
What she said.
Listen, probably I think the biggest thing for me that so far is holy shit, Dylan. Oh my God. Bro, she's drawing like headless fucking bloodied torsos.
Oh, I remember this.
Cut off.
Dude.
And
they
yeah,
redacted that shit from us in the beginning, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I called her drawing South from the beginning. She was obsessed with drawing eyebrows, bushy eyebrows and eyes. But I guess it got darker than that.
Oh, it's even worse than that, man. She was drawing like hands chopped off of bodies and headless torsos, and she was drawing bodies that had their necks slit twice, just like the girls did upstairs and shit like that, ear to ear.
Hold on, are you the one that?
Oh, now I remember this.
Or her Pinterest got banned because she was posting nothing but pictures of knives. Something about her
she
Pinterest.
had this.
Are we good?
Like Pinterest. Yeah, we're fine. I remember it now. Law enforcement recovered the Pinterest account, and on that account, it was all fucking knives. All different kinds of knives. Listen, probably I think the biggest thing for me that like so far is
There
like,
it is. That's it.
yeah, we get it. And now I remember, Kane. Thank you for refreshing my memory, honey.
No worries.
I have a question.
I just thought it was interesting that that's what she's drawing. That's all I was pointing out, though, just so we're clear.
I'll let you talk in 1 second. I'd love to hear what you say, but my takeaway from it was that you have 3 people or 4 people or whatever that live together for a very short period of time, 3 months. I feel like the drawings that Dylan posted on this corkboard were her billboard of, F around and find out. This is who I am. It's sort of a personality billboard. That's all. That was my takeaway. I'm sorry, Eddie. Go ahead.
Okay, my question, and we're getting back to the autopsy now. I tried to ask a question there, but wasn't able to.
Go ahead,
so my
bud.
question is if nothing nefarious was going on with the detectives or investigators during the autopsy, then what about the body cam, the recordings, the notes, the photos, and information collected at the autopsies that is requested in the request for discovery by the defense for officers Tollison, Vegas, and Gunnarsson? If nothing suspicious was going on.
Thank you, Ray. God bless, hon. Very generous of you, and we appreciate that.
Because the medical examiner records it all via high definition video and audio. So if the officers decided not to take any notes, that's on them. It has nothing to do with the medical examiner. All of the autopsies were recorded via high definition video and audio. The Spokane Medical Examiner's Office has been using those for a while. That's how they conduct all of their autopsies. It's all recorded. I mean, it's like standard operating procedure for most medical examiners across the country now. The autopsy rooms it's all recorded. High definition video and audio. And then that's given to both sides, defense and prosecution. Like, in a homicide case and stuff.
Jake,
so I mean, I get what Eddie's saying. Like, do I think it's shady that the officers that were present didn't take notes or anything like that? Yeah. But I mean, it's Idaho, so it's not surprising. But the Spokane medical examiner, she covers her own ass because she knows that it's all being video recorded and audio recorded.
And do we know 100% for a fact that although they do record their autopsies, that this recording exists in this case?
Yeah. The medical examiner makes it clear in the autopsy findings that all of the video and photographs were given to the defense.
Yeah, that was in a document. Documents.
They can't not give it to the defense because then how are you going to, if you want to be able to use that evidence in court, both sides have to have it.
Yeah, if anything else, those things definitely have to be available to them.
And that's kind of why I was saying too, like, if the defense team, like I could maybe not Ann, but like definitely Masseth and Barlow, those two would have had a problem, and they would have been filing motions to suppress that evidence if they believed that the videos and photographs they received from the autopsies were doctored or tampered with. We would have seen a motion to suppress that evidence, and we didn't.
That's an interesting point.
Interesting point. Something that's been wormholing my brain hole since I had you on the other day, and thank you so much for being on. That was a really great show over at.
I can't believe you rage quit.
Well, sorry, it was all part of the MK and Ultra program.
Did you rage quit your own show, bro?
I rage quit my own show.
He did after he invited me as a guest. He rage quit. Yep.
It all worked out in the end. It was just an MK and Ultra program to get Scully's ratings back over 1,000.
Oh my God.
But what her contention and it seems synopsis of this case was what, Annie? About
say that again. What
about the cult? Do you want to go there?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I know. That's my personal opinion. It's a cult. It was ritualistic, in my opinion. No different than Abby and Libby.
It's ritualistic. It does follow. That's been talked about before. We've never really touched on that too much here, but I have seen it talked about. I've been asked that. And I think in the very beginning, it was one of the first narratives that was out there being talked about because of the way it looked. And I'm not saying, of course I respect everybody's feelings, opinions, and thoughts on this. I'm not saying that that's the answer. Okay. But I'm saying if you look at and think about how was it written? The signature injuries that were on them, the post-mortem injuries that were on them, things like that. I mean, it makes you think, what's this about? You got to ask those questions. Why is this done? Why was this being done? And things like that. Okay, for instance, real quick, if you look into it, the two cuts on the necks, those were done very carefully. Okay, to the point that and slowly. Okay, when they did it, if you're gonna cut somebody's throat, okay, to try to kill them, those were post-mortem. Understand this first. They did it lightly enough to just cut the skin rather than cutting through the carotid and stuff like that. That's a little too thought about for me to just say that was part of of the murder. There's something else
now
there.
in the medical examiner reports. Does the medical examiner document those wounds as being post-mortem or no?
Not that I saw.
Yeah, that we didn't remember. We couldn't find anything specifically on that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, Annie, what kind of set us on this path was when I started looking for the X wounds, remember? And then we came across the one on Xana's scalp that was it looked like, and in your opinion, that it was a 4-edged dagger. Okay, I brought that up on my buddy.
A 4-edged dagger. No, I said it looks like a dagger with a double hilt.
Right. Well, thank you. But I brought that up on my buddy Clint's channel the other day, and he says that type of dagger is illegal to own and illegal to use, like even in warfare, because it creates a wound that is untreatable.
Right.
And so, like, as far as like the Geneva Convention, these types of things, you're not allowed to. If you get caught with one, it's you're breaking the rules of war. So what we have with the X, and I'm just going to throw this out there because it's just been something that's was eating away at me, and I wanted to hear you guys' opinion on it. As far as the lettering. And with like, okay, so with the Illuminati, they say that they find each other, they name their businesses like Sirius Satellite. Texaco has the star in the logo. These types of things. That's how they know who each other is. With this case, it suddenly stuck out to me that the initials BK were very important to the case. Like, why are they just Why didn't they just call him Brian Koberger? What's his BK? And they're trying to relate it to BKK because his teacher and all this. And then we were looking at something that was one of these old like Scottish rites, and it's called Phi Beta Kappa. And I was like, okay, that's like Phi Beta Kappa, the fraternity or whatever. And I wondered if that they are doing the same symbolism with the lettering, and to let people know that are in the illuminated to that what is going on with this case by putting those letters in there. Does that make any sense to you guys?
I don't know, Kane. You know,
I don't know.
You're entitled. You're entitled to all of your own opinions, my friend.
Okay. Well, I wanted to throw that out there. We do have the Greek lettering system, the BK, the Beta Kappa are very important letters within that system, and I do believe that they communicate with each other in very cryptic ways. And that just stood out to me. Not that it's important in any way. It was something I observed. I wanted to worm it out there in your brain holes.
I don't know. I feel like this is money. You know, 9 times out of 10, it's always about money. And that's just what I feel. Yeah, and I think that's why Mr. Koberger made it a point to say, hey, I don't care about the money. Because I don't think he does care about the money. I think he cared more about his reputation, losing his degrees, losing everything he worked very hard for. I think that's what he really cared about. He don't care about the money. But I also think that somebody took his shit. If you want my honest to God's opinion, I think somebody took his shit and he wasn't happy about it. And he wanted it back.
So let's talk about this now so that people can understand this, because a lot of people don't. I don't have a complete understanding either. So you were talking about the crypto stuff earlier. So if you don't mind, let's get into that a little bit, please.
Well, to my understanding, and as always, never listen to me. Don't ever fucking run with anything I say. Do your own research. Come to your own conclusions.
Yes.
Mr. Koberger, when he was about 18, if I remember correctly, 18, 19 years old, he got an $80,000 settlement from a car accident that he was in when he was a kid.
Right.
A younger kid. Okay. His friend Jeremy Saba's the one who he did a lot of computer stuff with, and Bitcoin. Saba was really, really big into Bitcoin at the time before he died. And him and Brian were like besties, and that's what they worked on. And then now fast forward to now, when we find out Mr. Koberger had multiple crypto accounts, I'm of the very strong opinion that somehow at this pool party, or whatever the case may be, whatever he was doing out in Moscow, I believe he was hacked. I believe that's why he was doing virus protection on his computers. I think that's why he was wiping everything, because he knew he got hacked. Someone took his shit and someone stole his crypto. And, you know, if they did, I don't know. I'm just saying, this is just my opinion. Kind of like little pieces I was putting together in my brain here, you know. He don't care about the money, but tell you what, he didn't waste 9 years of his life either, going for all those degrees and everything, just to have it all fucked up by some chick he met at a pool party who stole his crypto. Stole his nest egg. You know what I mean?
That's real interesting. I had no idea about that. How, I don't know, but I didn't. I did know well.
I mean, I don't know what he had in there for crypto, but I do know that he started out with like an $80,000 settlement. He invested a lot of it into Bitcoin and stuff. Him and Saba. And, you know, from there, who knows? I mean, we know Bitcoin blew up. He was also into Ethereum.
Yes.
What was the other one? There was another one. There was Ethereum and one other one that he had accounts with. So, you know, that's just my opinion.
Well, see, I knew about the settlement because one of the interviews Willie did with, I can't remember who it was, one of Mikey, I think it might have been, talked about him getting the money that he got from a settlement, that he blew through a lot of it for drugs and stuff like that. This is interesting, though, because I never heard about, most people don't know, you know, things like that, but that's very interesting. Do you know any of he reported the theft, like with law enforcement? I know that many people are asking this.
If he did, If he did, we wouldn't know about it anyway. They'd hide it. He
Right.
probably
Yeah.
reported it to feds. He isn't going to report it to no local fucking police officer. He's going to go to the feds.
Right.
This is crypto.
Yes.
That's federal.
Very interesting. Bubbly's in the house. Good to see you, Bubs. What does Annie think about last pass that was hacked very close to the unalivings? You can say murders in here, Bubbly. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know anything
I mean, I
about
don't know.
that?
Like I said, I don't know what was going on with him, okay? I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, he's totally innocent. He's totally innocent. Listen, the dude pled guilty. I don't care why he pled. I don't care if he was forced. I don't care if he did it because he felt scared. It's irrelevant. It's literally irrelevant. Mr. Koberger is not fighting for his own innocence anymore, and I'm not going to do it for him.
Understood.
I didn't say I know it was stolen. I think people I love you so much, but some people in chat, man, they have a hard time with words or something. I already disclosed. Do not listen to me. These are just my opinions. These are not facts. It is my opinion. Yeah, it's my opinion. Someone hacked him and stole his shit. That's my opinion.
Let me find it here. Were you going to say something, Kane? I think I stepped on you when you were getting ready to.
Oh no, I'm just listening. I was waiting for a good chance to interrupt Annie again.
No,
well, I think about it, right? They said that when he went to the pool party, he got 2 chicks' numbers.
Right.
But yet they're also claiming that all of these times his phone was pinging in Moscow. They can't fucking verify where he was. Stop it. Stop it. You know exactly where he was going when he was in Moscow, and it wasn't to the King Road house.
Right.
They know that.
Yes.
They're hiding it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They know exactly where he was going and who he was visiting out there. And it wasn't anybody at King Road.
Right.
So the better question is, who was it then? If it wasn't anybody at King Road, who invited him to the pool party? Whose numbers did he get there? Who was he hanging out with every time he was going into Moscow? If he's out there late night, according to them, all of his pings are late at night. Well, where was he going then? Who was he meeting up with?
Yeah. Yeah, and it is known. Everybody tries to put him out there as being this nobody that knew nobody, that had no friends, that didn't talk to. That's not true. That is not true. He knew people. He talked to people. He made friends when he was there. There's no way that all plays into their damn narrative, and I'll never believe it. I never have. So.
Well, you know, I can look at, you know me, Dago. I can look at it from all angles. I could play prosecutor. I could play defense. It don't matter to me because I'm not emotionally attached to any of this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
I can look at it from both sides. For all I know, he knew somebody was fucking with him. Maybe he set them up. I have no idea. Maybe he laid a trap. We have no clue. You know what I mean? They're hiding it. I do think it's very interesting that the declassified FBI document lists extortion. Okay. So the feds were investigating extortion.
Right.
That did connect to this, guys.
That's in their own, that's in their own declassified documents. They were investigating extortion. So who was being extorted?
In PA, remember that, folks. There was an extortion case from Pennsylvania connected to this. So where's the answer to that? They really walked all the way around that. So yeah, that's a good point.
Not only that, who's doing the extorted? Who's being extorted? It doesn't say.
Good point. Good point. You're good, Eddie. Thank you, buddy, for being up here. Appreciate you. I have to close it down anyway. But no, Annie. Damn it, Annie.
That's the only reason I think that someone like hacked him and stole his crypto, because the feds were initially investigating extortion, and he made it a point to let Gilbertson and Payne know he don't care about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, and again, it takes me back to the "you look familiar to me" thing. That, God damn it. Ugh.
See? You know what I mean?
See what she does?
Because she doesn't have any room left in her head for the brain worms, so she's got to give them to us. Just saying, there's so many of them.
Yeah,
I love it though.
I mean, you know, like I said, I don't know shit. these are just my own opinions. These are the thoughts that swirl around in my head, and I think to myself, like, okay, well, I mean, he said he was guilty, but then again, he's lying because he's claiming that the way the state claims it all happened is true. And the forensic evidence dictates that that is not true. So he's even lying when he says it was just me. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to be part of the cult. Maybe that was his initiation. Who fucking knows?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Damn it. So thank you once again for making me think, as you always do. I appreciate that. Very, very interesting stuff.
You get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, how do we know? We have no idea. Nobody knows him.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's the thing. We don't. None of us know who he is or what. We don't know, guys. We don't know none of this. So
No, I'm not saying that, like, it's not possible that he is entirely innocent and took a plea because he felt he had to, or whatever the case may be. That option is always on the table,
right.
But we're talking, it's been a while now since sentencing. We haven't seen any movement on an appeal here. Doesn't look like he's planning on appealing anything. It looks like he's planning on staying silent, staying in jail, and not talking.
Mm-hmm. It does. It seems that way thus far. That's for sure. I'm hoping that's not true. I would love to, at the very least, to see a trial. That's all. That's all. That's all I'd love to see. Nothing more. Just a trial.
Well, some people could look at the silence too as like a strategy, right? You've been arrested for this crime. Your best bet is to stay silent. Just say nothing.
Right.
So who knows? I always thought the whole crypto thing was really interesting, considering what he said in his interview in Pennsylvania when he was interrogated, and then we find out that, like, okay, so he's making sure he lets them know he doesn't care about the money. What money? What money is he talking about? His own?
That's a very good question. Where did that come from? Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I never even thought about that. Never even thought about that.
It's just, it was always very interesting to me the way he made it a point, to let them know it's not about the money for him. And I'm thinking to myself, what money is he even talking about?
What's not about the money and what money? Yes, thank you.
You know what I mean?
That's interesting as all hell. Yes, ma'am. I do know exactly what you mean. I'm going to be looking into that deeper.
I mean, it's probably nothing. It's just one of those things that stuck out to me.
It could be absolutely nothing, or it could be everything, you guys, because again, we don't know. Interesting. Damn it. Thank you, Annie, very much for this. As much as I hate to, I have to say goodnight to all of you. Annie, it's been wonderful to hear your voice again and have you here as always. I've missed you as always. I always enjoy you being here.
Well, thank you for having me. It's taco night here, so I'm making tacos.
It's always great. I had some street tacos the other day. I made.
Enjoy.
I shared a pic for you there for you to use for your avatar.
Oh my god. You're insane, bro.
Good
but
night,
thank
everybody.
you,
Well, I hope everybody has a great night. And Dago, you know I love you.
Yes, ma'am. As do I with you. Absolutely. Kane, I appreciate you. Annie, you know I love you. I appreciate and respect you so very much. Eddie, thank you for your input, info, and Jesse, you as well. Anybody that joined us, guys, it was a great conversation, as it always is. I cannot say it enough. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you to all of you that donated to support the goals, the channel, all of the amazing moderators. You guys are unbelievably amazing. I couldn't do this without you guys. We're not going to close it out with a song tonight because I don't have that time. Because I went a little over because it was such a great conversation. But we will be back tomorrow. I will be live with Crimes After Dark tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you're interested, please stop by and say hi. I appreciate each and every one of you guys more than you'll ever understand. Nothing but love for all of you guys. Please make sure, if you have not yet done it, to hit the like button, if you will. Share it out. And hopefully I will see you all tomorrow, guys. Don't forget one important thing. please, folks, please, it's very important. Don't forget to love yourselves, love each other, and please, please do not change a thing. You guys are truly the beautiful people. I love you the way you are. Thank you so much for being amazing and beautiful. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.